Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A happy Monday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout, presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer, live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio, as well as those watching on YouTube. For anyone that was watching on YouTube, we had that big pizza reveal, which we'll get to right away here. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with here, and Murray McCourt from the VIP Golf Show, which it's going to be only one more Sunday off.
I know, it's coming
28th
up.
is going to come, and the VIP Golf Show back on Edmonton Sports Talk, 8 o'clock, April 28th. How pumped are you?
Oh, very, very excited to be back. I mean, this has been so fun to be doing this with you guys, once a week or pretty much all winter long to kind of keep me in the loop on things and whatnot. But I really miss doing the show in the off season, and super excited to get back at it with Curtis Stock in 2 Sundays.
Do you know what this is? For the golf show, this is your golf sim through the winter.
Oh.
Well, yeah, this is my practice.
And then it keeps the reps going, keeps it happening, and then once the real show goes out back on the course, that's the VIP golf show.
We didn't sacrifice a garage for your golf sim, unlike our friend Ryan, who does not park his vehicles in his garage anymore because it's now a golf simulator.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people that don't use their garages for cars, though.
Do you know
which
what it
can't
seems
understand
weird for me.
that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like because they have so much junk that there's no room for their car in their garage. It just doesn't make any sense to me why you would want to park willingly on the street in the wintertime in Edmonton. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yep.
None. Does it like it's
Zero.
That's as you're saying. That's what the point of a garage is.
Yeah.
It's for your cars.
Yeah.
At the very least, you should be able to have enough room to put one in. If you want to have all the other stuff there and one has to go outside, sure, I guess.
Why use logic?
I don't get it.
But then whose car goes in? Your car or your wife's car?
Wife.
Well, I know. So then your car's still
I'll
outside
just go
because
with
of all the junk in the garage? No. You got to get rid of the junk and park your car in the garage.
If you want a true golf sim, it's either basement, if you have the right
Ceiling,
side, or you got to build like a separate facility, like you got to build a little shack outside.
Yeah. Well, there's a solarium in that backyard, which is also a neat little spot.
Under shocks?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Anyway, it is pretty sweet. He was talking about it all day Friday night, and then even on Saturday, I had to walk away from a conversation because he was still talking about the golf simulator.
I would love to talk about it with him one of these days. The only problem I have with him is that this weekend he says he golfed, I think, 4 times or something.
Yeah.
4
You could
times
golf
this
now.
weekend?
Yeah, you could go golf now.
Okay, so that's what I was going to say about a sim.
Right now you can go golfing.
He has a membership somewhere, too.
So why would so I feel like a sim in your house would be like a hot tub. When you first get it, you use it all the time, and then it kind of wears off. And especially because it's golf season. Why in the world would you ever use a sim when you can just go outside and play
Here's
golf?
the only way I would use a golf sim in the summertime. It would be if I woke up early today, I'm going to do a quick 9 before I come to work. Takes like 30 minutes, or late at night before I'm restless, I can't go to sleep or whatever. I'll go swing the club a little bit. That's about it. Beyond, or it's raining. Like
rain days.
Something like this past week, especially the first full weekend Edmonton's had of golf this year. If I'm golfing, it's on a course.
Right.
I want to be outside. I want to be in the cart driving around.
Well, now that you get a little teaser and you get 2 or 3 games in over this past week, and then the forecast turns here like it is about to, and it's like, oh man, I can't play golf because it's 3 degrees outside. Well then, okay, go to your sim in your basement.
I'll say this, that now it's usually fall golf. That 4 or 5 degree golf round, I love it. There's less people out there usually, but I don't know, there's something about that crisp air while you're golfing that I love it. Put the toque on, put a couple gloves on, beautiful.
In April, a lot
like that?
more
No.
people are out on the golf course in 4 degrees than they are in October.
Yeah, I believe it.
Because they've had their golf. It's like enough.
They're done.
They're done. But in the spring, there's still going to be people out playing golf at 4 degrees. Absolutely.
The fall golf is one of my favorite golfs, straight up. I love it.
I am fair
Outside
weather.
of
I'm fair weather.
outside of the
weather,
leaves.
yeah.
Having to find your ball through the leaves.
Yeah,
that's the only
that's tricky.
tough part.
And right now, because we're all rusty from having 6 months off, there are no leaves on the trees or whatever, so it's a lot easier. You know, you can hit the ball through the trees a little easier. There's no leaves on the ground.
There's no fescue.
Exactly.
It hasn't grown in yet. So if you get in the rough area, you're good.
Yeah, so
Get out of
it's
there.
helpful that the courses play a little easier right now than they do, once the leaves are in bloom, trees are in bloom, and all that kind of thing. Because then it's just a little harder, but your game should be a little better, so it kind of balances itself out.
Sully texting in 780-218-9999 says, I'm sensing a lot of jealousy on the Hangout this morning. Bunch of haters.
What are we jealous of?
Yeah, we're
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
My buddy's building a golf sim at his place. I think it's going to be ready come July. I can't wait to go golf in it. But if he told me he was golfing 4 times over the course of the weekend in the middle of July in his sim as opposed to going outside, I'd call him an idiot.
Yeah.
I'd straight up tell him he's an idiot. So,
Yeah.
not jealousy. It's golf outside. That's the point of golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean-
yeah. Go enjoy the fresh outdoor weather, the
Yes.
beautiful sunshine, hanging
Yep.
out with your bros.
Yep.
I love virtual
Yeah.
golf. I did it one
One
winter.
putt.
I
Go to
did
one putt.
Like, I can't wait to actually do it next winter. Not gonna lie, like that. I couldn't go this year. I can't wait to because the one I did like every 2 weeks. Once every 2 weeks, went with my buddies. It was great. It's a great way to just get your swing going, to still hang out with your buddies, throw on the hockey game while you're doing it. It's awesome. But it's to get you to real golf. Because the sim, I will stand by. Love swinging the driver, love swinging the irons. Long wedge play, don't mind. But when you're like within 30 yards of the green and closer,
Forget it.
it's the putting's not the same. Chipping, just that you can't get those flop shots or anything like that.
It's not golf.
At that point,
it's not. No.
because you play with the gimmies.
Yes.
You set up the gimme and you set it up for 6
5
feet,
foot,
5 feet,
8
whatever
foot,
it is. That
whatever.
if the ball lands in there, they give you the next shot. So it's just like whatever.
Well, they have to have those generous gimmies because you can't figure out how to putt on a sim anyways.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me, the sims when it comes to the short game. I would rather just put it on the driving range and just see, dial in the swing a little bit, see how far I'm hitting it, where it's going.
Ryan says it's for his ball striking.
Yeah,
the record.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
100%.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Get on sometimes just open up the driving range and swing your club.
Yeah.
And watch your flight to see how it's going.
Now, I will say this: for Christmas, putting has never been my strength. Me and Scotty Scheffler have that in common. Not putting, not the best. But for Christmas, I asked for a fancy putting mat that I have set up in my office, and because it just helps me, it's really helped me figure out, how to keep the club face square,
Right.
because I'd always have it turned in a little bit, and then my putting stroke would just putting's not the best part of my game. But putting yesterday, I played my first game of the year yesterday, and my putting was actually pretty solid because that
put in the
putting
time.
mat really did help me figure out how to keep my club face square when I'm putting. And I'm like, which is a good thing because I also topped 3 shots, as I told you yesterday.
So Ryan's first round, Ranch Golf and Country Club, theranch.com to book your tee time. Tops 3 shots in his rounds.
That's not, and Murray's a pro.
Do you know what he shot overall?
Probably like a 75.
73.
73,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's not bad to start
Tops the balls 3
Sorry,
times
Murray.
and still manages a 73
Yeah,
on
he's a
all
pro.
that. You know,
That's
like
because that putter,
Jeez.
boy, if I can putt good like that, when I get my game sorted out and my swings figured out, I might be good this year. You never know.
Sean Piercy, KK, and Adam
Whizzer, yeah.
Whizzer,
That
you guys
was-
golfed with them, and KK finished last.
KK, yeah. We gave him 7. We all gave him 17 shots yesterday.
Really? It's that many?
Yeah. Sean and I closed them out on the 16th green. Adam took to 18. He closed them out on the 18th green. So KK lost to everybody, and so that's one step closer to the losers' dinner at KK's. KK is an absolutely fabulous chef. So
I'm not surprised,
Yes.
to be honest with you.
so
I've
what-
heard this many times, actually.
Yeah, and so what happens is the loser of the matches at the end of the year has to host everybody for dinner.
So you add it up throughout the whole year.
Yeah, we keep a running total, but it's kind of fun because what we do is, because we start at 17 strokes because we all won. Next week we all have to give them 18 strokes. If we all win again next week, then it would be 19 strokes. But if he wins, then it goes down
back
a
the
stroke.
other way.
So it kind of balances itself out over the year. So if he loses a whole bunch in a row, we end up giving him whatever 22 strokes in a round. So it becomes easier and easier for him to win. But then if he starts winning, gets on a roll, then it might get down to whatever 14 strokes, 13 strokes that we have to give him. But it's just fabulous that when we beat him, because he is that good a cook that when we get to go to his house and indulge in some KK cooking, it's like, oh yes. But my wife always gets upset because she actually wants to host the dinner. But I don't want to lose.
Murray, why aren't you losing?
Yeah, exactly. Like, thanks, honey.
I'm not surprised KK is a good cook or chef.
He's good with Ukrainian stuff too.
No, I would be surprised. Like, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all either. You talk about your putting and how you straighten it out with the putting mat. I completely cheated. You know what I did?
What did you do?
I got a putter that has a weight system because I like mallet putters, and I would always open up, so I'd push the ball slightly on my putts. So what I did is I got the TaylorMade Spider GT X, I think it was a GT, whatever, last year, and I pushed the weights because you can slide them up, back, or middle, or however you want, and I moved them to the front so it plays like a blade putter.
So I want to
And I
know how
don't
that's
open it.
cheating. That's just the
it's
what
using
happens when you
technology.
get off your wallet and buy a fancy putter. You can you can do
adjust
things
it.
like that.
Tyson thinks it's when you change your driver head, it's now cheating apparently.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, that's the lazy way out.
No, it's not. That's what it's designed
Yeah,
for.
Well, I know,
It's
but
like when you go get your clubs fitted,
yeah,
they set it up things for your swing.
at the
Exactly.
TaylorMade Performance Center at the
Exactly.
Ranch Golf and
It's
Country Club.
not a cheating. It's
It's just
custom
helping
made.
Okay,
out.
fine. I started the statement by saying I cheated. I just used the technology provided.
Exactly.
in the
Exactly.
putter
you're
that I
using your
went and got.
brain as opposed to cheating. That's what that is.
Okay, it's ultimately it's lazier. I didn't work on my game. I just adjusted the technology.
Yeah,
I think my uncle
I
would
still
tell
don't
me.
call that lazy.
No,
I call
okay.
that,
You don't think the
that's-
pros are doing that?
Exactly.
You don't think the pros are looking at
Although
their-
I didn't see that putter on haven't seen it on the tour lately, so
Well, trust me, those guys are dialed in on their putter
Yeah.
and the weighting of it, and everything is just dialed in perfectly
Yeah,
for
that's
them.
true.
Absolutely.
Bryson has his clubs being 3D printed. You don't think he's involved with that
insane.
whole
What does
process?
that
of how-
even mean?
yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
He figures it out somehow. I don't know. It didn't work over the weekend. We'll get
boy,
to
I
the
don't
Masters.
feel so
later
bad
here.
for him.
You
Well,
do?
no.
Okay.
Okay, before we move on from
Yes.
KK, we got the pizza.
We had the
That's
pizza.
one of the things that KK's one of his specialties
Is pizza?
is homemade pizza on the barbecue. OMG.
Does he have something like a attachment that goes on it? Yeah. Okay.
Oh my goodness, is that delish?
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Commissioner Phillips, Quinn in the nasty chat. KK loves his cooking. You should see his meal prep. He'd make massive amounts of food and then freeze full meals, then bring it to work at Global and let it thaw.
Well, there you go.
The man has a passion.
And Quinn, I've been with Quinn at KK's house before, so I'm sure she's indulged in some of his cooking over the years as well.
His cuisine.
And his hospitality with the fine wine and other cocktails.
We got a bunch of pizza dropped off today.
Oh, a bunch.
I haven't actually really
That's
eaten.
the
I got into
understatement of the universe. I've never seen
haven't had this yet.
a pizza box that big in my life.
It's crazy.
Oh.
Like, Big Mamas and Big Papas.
That's what it's called? Big
Yeah.
Mamas and Big Papas Pizza.
Yep.
Well, I get their name because
It's big.
that box wouldn't even fit on this table.
No.
So they come up with the pizza. The guy comes with and he looks and he's like, "Do you need Zach to come help?" Kind of like thinking you'd have a couple boxes to carry. He's like, "Nah, actually, maybe." And then when they come up, it's like they're trying to get furniture through the door. They're like shifting it around and making it work, and you're like, "This is insane." And this is the second largest pizza.
Biggest pizza. I'm like, are
second
you out
biggest
of your
that they have.
mind? There's a bigger pizza than that. But the thing
That's
about
delicious.
it is, the pizza that is bigger than the one they brought is almost double the size of the one they
know.
brought. Like,
With
you'd need
200
4 people
slices.
to carry it in.
I just now want to go to the location to watch them cook it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but could you imagine the size of that oven?
Well, how do you get it in and out? Like, how many people does it take to get
3.
on to throw it in there and pull it out? Like, is it 3?
It must be.
Like, there's a lot, and it's just like that. I don't know how we're gonna get rid of that box. You need a truck to get
Let's
rid
just
of
build a fort.
Well, Dusty's got a truck. That's the only way it can be.
That's the thing. You need a truck to get rid of your pizza box after, or to bring it home. I can't take my Chevy Cruze to bring this to the office
No.
next time.
Well, that's what they said. They had a special retrofitted car for delivery
Yeah,
of
it
these
didn't have back
pizzas.
seat. I saw them on the way out. I was like, I think that's the pizza guys, and there's no back seat.
Yeah.
BMPP.ca. They're just in Edmonton, I think 128th, 97th Street. It was UFC 300 this past weekend.
Can you imagine that?
That's the thing. Hey boys, we're ordering up one pizza, and this comes in,
One
and
pizza.
boom,
Yeah.
you're set for the night.
Yeah.
I said before, I think I could eat it all. I would say between 9 and 10 days.
And that's
it would
60
take me.
slices for the size they
Yeah,
bought
it's
us.
about 60 slices
Yeah.
for that one. So I feel like I could probably do it in about 9 to 10 days.
That's a lot. You're going to be pizzaed out.
I don't think I would ever get pizza out. I love my pizza, so I don't think I would.
You could only eat 7 pieces that big in one day, a day.
Well, I'm not going to have it. If it's 3, I'm going to do 3 meals a day of it.
Pace yourself.
Because if I'm going to do 3 meals, okay, for breakfast I'll have 2 slices. Okay. Lunch I could probably crush 4. Dinner I'll do another 5. So yeah, so now this is going to take me like 6 days.
Yeah, now it's 11 pieces. Good for you.
I could do it.
11.
I could do it.
Just think how healthy that is too.
I'll go for a lot
pizza.
of. I'll just go for a bunch of. Actually, carbo loading. I'll go get
That's
some
carbo
great
loading.
runs in.
Yeah,
Actually, the best
absolutely.
run I ever had in my life was after a bunch of pizza. So
Well, a little bit of protein on there with the cheese and the pepperoni.
I think I was the only one to also jump into the veggie one too.
Is that what that was? Was
That
veggie? There was a lot of stuff on
it was
that. one.
tomato, mushrooms, olives, peppers. It's delicious. It's delicious. So is this pepperoni one.
Yeah, and the most important thing too is like the novelty of the size is great, but the pizza is actually really good. That's the best part.
Okay. Now, and what are you drinking today? You're not drinking a White Claw. Like White Claw and pizza. What a way to start your day at 9 a.m.
More.
All right. Well,
man.
he's eating pizza.
Yeah,
Did you get out and play golf?
No, I
Not
was
yet.
with
Work.
the games Friday and Saturday, and then yesterday just a day of relaxation, which was nice. But I've got the itch, and I'm ready to get going. But I need to go to the range first, Murray. I looked at my clubs. I actually started cleaning my clubs, and then I got distracted. I was like, I'll get back to these later, and they're still half of them are still dirty.
Well, it was so funny.
You don't
when-
clean them at the end of the year?
I forgot. I forgot to. I'm usually really good with them, especially my new irons. But I think for whatever reason, I put them away in my guest bedroom, and I haven't touched them. But I got the putter out because I was watching the Masters, and I was like, ooh.
When did you get the new irons?
2 years ago.
Oh,
P790s.
So they're not so new anymore, but
P790s.
Yeah.
Nice.
they'd be
They've been
good.
treating you well?
Yeah. But I went for a 4 and 5 iron instead of because I had a 4-5 hybrid before, which was odd. I didn't like that. I just like my 3 hybrid. The 5 I hit well. The 4 I push a little bit or blade and have some troubles with. So I need to work on it a little bit more. But I do not regret that decision.
yeah, 3 and 4 irons are not easy to hit.
No.
Yeah, not a lot of loft. That's why I like hybrids are like legalized cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Just
just
you can't. There's less like you can't maneuver your shot.
Yeah.
So easy to hit though.
Yeah. I have a great 3 and a 5.
I love my 3. That's
3
my-
hybrid?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one I might go to. So I was just like, okay, I could use a 4 and a 5 iron, try to cut through the grass a little bit better.
So you guys are wearing off on Zacticum because
Yes.
Zacticum gets in here today and he was all proud of himself, gloating about how he actually watched golf for the first time this weekend and he went to the driving range.
Attaboy.
He's like growing up.
And he wants to go back to the driving range.
Yeah, he's growing up. That Zacticum. My goodness.
It's all from 2 months ago when he told us he didn't even know what a green jacket was.
Yeah.
Gold jacket, green
And
jacket. Who
now
gives
here we
a-
are. He's watching the Masters.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into it. My buddy who's building his golf sim texts me saying the point of the sim is for the off season or when it's raining. # not an idiot. So he understands.
We're not calling people with sins in it.
Oh, I said if you're gonna, I would call him an idiot. If he
Oh,
was doing
him,
that.
yeah.
And but I knew him. I know him. He's like,
That's
he
your
wouldn't
thing.
use it.
Yeah.
He wants to be out on the course. So just straight up.
But
he
no-
doesn't have it yet. But if he could have been on this weekend, if he had a choice, course or his own sim, he'd be on the course. But good job, Kyle.
But no parking his car in the garage in the wintertime.
No, my buddy's building it somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's in his garage.
It's not in his
Yeah,
garage.
it's
I don't think it's in
It's
his
Shogger
basement.
that
I
put
think
it
he
in his
built
garage.
something separate, or maybe it is his basement. Text me, Kyle.
Well, there you go.
So that's how it is. EST FlyAway keyword coming up just after 10 o'clock right here on the EST Hangout. Matt Iwanyk, Murray McCourt, Tom Gazzola with you here. By the way, I ordered a coffee. Didn't know the pizza was coming today. Needed a little coffee to start the day. So that's where I was going with. But yeah, the White Claw with the pizza would have been perfect.
Would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Let's get to our Hangout headlines, which is presented by the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Offering premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched values. It is the choice for your golf rounds all season, especially if you haven't gone yet. Be sure to check out the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Book your tee times by visiting ranchgolf.com. With that, let's just stick with the Masters and golf here. And of course, Scheffler wins. Of course, it ends up being not with out of the question. Like he just took it over.
Yeah.
In that back nine. But at one point, we had like a 4 or 5-way tie, right at that top of that
Yeah.
leaderboard. It was incredible that none of these guys could take advantage of Scheffler, who wasn't playing well to start. And then, boom, he just finishes it off.
Yeah. And
Best golfer in the world, right?
who can't putt? You see that one tap in he missed? It was like,
I know his pain.
yeah,
Why?
if he putted well at all this week, he would have won by 12 shots. But
Well, Rory called him out on the putting a couple weeks ago. And then all of a sudden he started putting really well. And he started winning all of a sudden. And it's like Rory set off Scotty to go win, go his last 4 rounds or tournaments. Winner, second winner.
yeah.
Not bad.
It's all right.
Yeah.
13 mil, I think, won or
So
something like that.
really, it ended up happening kind of the way we all thought it probably would. I mean, no surprise that Scotty Scheffler won, but you're right. It ended up being a pretty exciting Masters. When, I get a text while I'm golfing yesterday saying, "Luke, my son wants to go to the driving range before we go to Jess's parents for supper," and I'm like, "It's Masters Sunday. I don't want to go to the driving range. I want to be on the couch watching golf." And then 4 guys are tied for the lead, and I'm like, "My God, this is going to be such an amazing finish and whatnot." So I got dropped off at my wife's parents' house while they went to the driving range, so I could watch the end of it. But overall, it was a good term. Interesting that no live guys were really there. DeChambeau was hanging around for a while, but fell off after his big start. So him and Cam Smith were 6th.
Patrick Reed finished top 20.
Patrick Reed was up there, but last year in the Masters there was a lot of live guys.
Phil didn't Phil finish top 3 or something like that?
Phil was right there, and a couple other guys were right there too. John Rahm.
He was miserable all weekend.
Yeah, like maybe money doesn't buy happiness.
Well, it looks like over the course of this week, John Rahm's having real buyer's remorse of signing on with Live Golf. That he's upset that there hasn't been the Live and PJ haven't fully gotten the merger done yet.
Yeah.
That he's talking about he wants Live to go to 72 holes, and it's like, well, you could have had that
You can just
on
stay
the tour that you stayed at. Like, it seems very much like he's a guy that was promised some things. Those things haven't been delivered yet, and he might be having buyer's remorse, and then is just frustrated, is angry.
Yeah.
In Butler Cabin, didn't look like he was really wanting to be there.
Yeah, you're hitting nail after nail after nail right on the head here. It's just since day
People
one,
have
it's all
turned
been
on, fans have
fascinating.
turned on him. Like, there's
sure.
a lot of people that have
I'm
drawn
one of them.
Absolutely.
I thought the way he handled the Live PGA stuff from a PGA standpoint so well. The things he said, the rationale he used, it wasn't fire like Rory. It was like logical, calm, composed, very thoughtful whenever he would defend the PGA. And then last year or whatever it was, when the rumors were coming out that he was going to jump, and the money that they were talking about was ridiculous. Like, I understand the money part of it, but like, I was like, you were the guy, man. Like, I know Rory is the leader and all that, and I get that, but the way John Rahm kind of supported, I thought was fantastic. I'm more PGA than Live. I've started to watch more Live, and some of the things about it I think are neat, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, it just doesn't have the same jam though. And John Rahm was the poster boy for everything I think that's bad about this situation. So I don't know. I'm disappointed by John Rahm, and I'm one of those people that's turned on him. I don't actively hate him or anything like
No,
that.
but
it's like that's disappointing.
I cheer against live guys in these major events. So now I'll cheer. I always like John Rahm. I always want to see him win,
Yeah.
but I would now do not want to see him win. I would
Yeah.
rather see. I don't care if Scheffler wins the next 8 majors. It'll make me happy that it's not a live guy winning the majors. That's what I don't want that. And I feel like though overall, like in the end, many of the live guys are now starting to, like we heard Bryson and Phil say that we need the merger done. It needs to happen. And you're seeing a lot of the live guys start talking about this merger needs to be finished. Like let's speed things up. And you're wondering why? You went to greener pastures apparently. You went to something that was better. Why do you need to all of a sudden remerge with the PGA?
Right.
Like why? So what's going on here? And I think they went for the money with the expectation that eventually PGA would crumble and then they'd take it over. That hasn't happened. And now they're sitting there going, well, yeah, I've got my money, but I'm not winning the fun tournaments. I'm not playing in front of crowds and I'm not playing in front of TV audiences.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the only time I'll get to do that is at the majors. Exactly. And that's only 4 times a year. But the TV numbers for the rest of the PGA season, they're not as good as when Tiger was around. There's no question. The PGA numbers aren't the greatest they've ever been, but they're still pulling in millions of people each weekend to watch Nick Taylor go win. With all due respect to the Canadian, like Nick Taylor and stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Who cares about Nick Taylor in the big picture right now, like right? And but people would rather watch the PGA than live golf.
Well, and it is best on best. I mean, it's the 4 majors, the only time we can watch best on best. But we'll see what happens the rest of the way. But in this one, the live guys didn't step up and compete for the most part. So, is this not playing very many tournaments? Is this playing 54 holes and not playing in front of crowds? Is that impacting their ability to play golf?
I would think the crowd one would be one.
Sure.
Where you're not used to that. You get away from that. Because I won't say it's playing the 54 or not playing as much because there was a lot of guys just across the board that struggled this week.
Sure. It was tough conditions.
DJ were bad. And Justin Thomas, he was like, his last 3 holes one day cost him the cut.
Yeah.
Like he just had a miserable, I think 15 or 16, 17, 18 and stuff.
Oh my God.
It was all over the place. There wasn't that many high scores. That it was a tough weekend conditions wise.
Yeah.
And I won't put that it got a lot of the golfers.
Well, let's talk about Tiger though. I mean, Tiger Woods makes the cut, which I when I was on Dusty's show on Friday, I said he's going to make the cut and then he's going to fade away on the weekend because his body's not going to be able to handle walking 4 days in a row at Augusta, and that's kind of the way it played itself out. But what do you guys think? Like, he can't unless the course is just flat. I don't know that he can really be competitive over four rounds of golf.
I felt bad for him because there was a video clip of him applying that rub A5 all that stuff with like an ice patch on his back and all of that. And you're just like, this guy is doing whatever he can to just eliminate as much pain as he can as he's doing this. And to me, it's just like, if you're in this much pain, why are you still golfing?
He's a novelty act now.
Well, just go enjoy.
He's Jack.
Yeah, and
he's kind of now
he's the statesman now, and he's carrying that ambassadorship almost. Like there was him shaking hands with Fern Lundquist, who wrapped up 40 years of calling the Masters, and but it's just one like if you're in this much pain to do golf, maybe stop golfing. Maybe that and that maybe stop golfing competitively at least, or get the medical. I think you talked about maybe
medical
get the
exemption and get the cart because I mean, I don't understand. Well, I guess I understand why he doesn't want to do it because he's Tiger Woods, but man, like he can still play. I mean, through 36 holes. Going through all that pain, he was 22nd place.
Yep.
Beating a lot of some great players, and so he can still be great if he didn't have to walk and go through the and man, walking shouldn't be that painful, but for him it is like that he's banged up far more than we probably will ever really understand and realize.
Yeah, that car accident.
Yeah, and how much he's been rebuilt and stuff with screws and all that stuff. Like that's yesterday when I saw that video of him just applying everything. I just like I felt like maybe stop or maybe just do the Masters. That's it every year.
Well, and
don't golf.
He's not going to play
much
for the
Masters
for sure.
Yeah,
but there's no point almost. Like if you're we see it with like Oscar Klefbom retiring, partly because he wants a life after hockey, and it's like I get that. Like for Tiger, you've had an unbelievable golf career. they're unmatched. You could argue. Some will say Jack is maybe a little bit better, but you're in that top echelon.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we talk about how great Scheffler is right now. Tiger did this, right? And he did it at a better level back in the day, right? Like, we're impressed by Scheffler, but Tiger was doing this for so long. Maybe it is okay to just go and focus on your virtual golf league that you're going to start with Rory, right?
To put it in perspective, Scheffler would have to play at the level that he is right now, winning tournament after tournament for like 8 to 10 years for him to be considered at the same level of what Tiger Woods did. But
Where do you think Spieth is at right now?
you know, he all over the place. He's just not consistent at all. I mean, if he has his game on, he can be highly competitive as he always is. But he's all over the place. So I don't know what's going on. Whether it's a mental thing, some other things going on in his life. Maybe his clubs aren't working for him. Like there's something going on there for sure.
Yeah, and it's drawing out. This is what 3-4 years of this from Spieth.
Yeah.
Well, a couple years ago, he was winning a little bit. He was up there in contention. Usually, he won the Pebble just a few years ago.
Right.
Well, but
But he's very up and down. He's very up and down.
Yeah.
Ever since the year Danny Willett won the Masters, and he dunked it on 12 twice.
Yeah.
He was set to win it back-to-back years, I think it was. It's a back-to-back, or it was back-to-back.
Yeah.
And he kind of hasn't been the same.
Yeah.
Went and won the Open. But the two things I know of Spieth, one is I heard that like his putting, like he never understood why he was such a good putter. And then
He
when
never understood his own-
why he was so good, and then he lost it, and he couldn't figure out how to fix
that's
it because he
scary.
didn't know how he was doing, like how he was getting it done. Because he like when he wins, he makes unbelievable putts. The Open Championship one where he pointed to his caddy and told him to go pick it up because the caddy didn't think he'd make it or whatever. It wasn't being an arrogant guy, but it was just a joke between them.
Yeah.
But like he makes those long putts, but he can't figure out why. And the other thing is he's a guy that generally wins, but he doesn't play like he's not hitting every fairway.
Yeah.
He often gets in trouble and he has his scrambles. And he's great at scrambles, but that can only get you so far sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't do that forever.
No, and so like he goes and again at that Open Championship, he was behind that tent on the driving range, and they took like 30 minutes to get his shot figured out, and then he gets it on the green and stuff, and he was just unbelievable. But sometimes when you're in that rough, well, the next shot's going to be miserable still.
Yeah.
So I think those are the problems that Spieth has, is that he's never been just the cleanest golfer.
Well, you know, golf is. I mean, we all play it. It's not easy.
No.
It's hard,
And
especially mentally.
you're right. And you look at the number of golfers, even some that still currently play, that have elevated their game for a period of time to be right there, even considered the best in the world, or right there with the best in the world. And then it goes away. And guys like, I mean, Spieth, sure. Dustin Johnson would be in that case. I mean,
I think he's in cruise control for the rest of his
well,
life.
sure.
Yeah.
And maybe he's I mean, but he is an example of that.
True, very
you
true.
go back in other years. David Duval is a guy who just
yeah.
elevated his game and was battling Tiger Woods for the best player in the world. And then where did his game go? I mean, so that happens. Guys get on heaters, and then they just can't maintain
Mike
it.
Weir was like that too. God bless him. But
Yeah.
Oh, they won 2 Nissan Opens back-to-back years, I think it was, won the Masters in there. Like he had his run there.
He had a great run,
where
yeah.
For like 2 years, he was a top golfer.
yep.
Even not quite to the same level, but I thought that Cameron Smith was going to be the next great player, and then he jumps to live. And
I wonder how much that is. Is it live, or is it the fact that he just had his run? Because there was a guy that won, I think it was the Hawaii Open or something. Did he win the Players?
He was on fire.
He was all, and then
on
he was
fire.
there with, was it the year Scheffler won? He was second. I think they were in the final pairing. He then wins the Open Championship, and then he jumps to live.
Yeah.
And we've never heard a peep from him hardly since.
No, and he was the one when of all the guys going to live that year. I thought old, washed up almost.
Yeah.
Like you're
Except
not
for him.
You're not.
was like,
and then when Cam went Smith, I was like, oh, that's a big one.
That stung. That stung.
And I haven't. And then it was only Rom since that I went. Okay, you got a legit top player again.
Yeah.
Beyond that, it was always just okay. You got the guys in their late 30s.
Right.
They've had their career. They're just taking the bag right now. Those ones were like, well, these guys could go compete on the PGA and week in and week out potentially win.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really wanted Cam Smith.
I like the and
I really wanted
like
him
the
to stay.
vibe of Live, like on course. Like I like
Do you?
the music thing.
I-
It seems like it's more of the open to the fun, but not over the top like the Waste Management Open was this past year. But yeah, the level of competition, it just seems like that give a crap isn't as dialed in as it is in the PGA.
And it's also early. Like maybe one day the Live Golf event in Mexico or whatever is actually going to be a big deal. Maybe in 30 years, if you do it consistently, there now is a history to it that it becomes something. Like, when did we care about the Players' Championship, really? Like, as big as we do now. Majors are majors, but there's certain events we still care about. But there's also been a history to that. So maybe 30, 40 years from now, we look at the Live Tour, if it's still around.
It won't be around.
It's okay, but if it is, then that's where we could talk about the history of it. But right now, it's all just... It's brand new.
To me,
like, who
Live
cares?
is the early stages of the Arizona Coyotes, where they were around for 30 years, but they never really had any success. They really shouldn't have been there for 30 years. Now they're going to move. However long the Live Tour lasts, it never should have happened, and it's just going to always be a nothing. And then eventually, hopefully, it'll just fade away, and there's going to be no legacy of the Live Tour with any positivity. Just like there's no real positive legacy of the Arizona Coyotes being in Arizona.
Did you see what Fred Couples said about Greg Norman this weekend?
No.
Well, so Greg Norman apparently had to buy a ticket to get to the Masters or something. And he says there's 13 Live guys in the Masters, and none of them could get you a ticket. Next year, Greg, call me. I'll get you in.
Yeah, I did see that.
And it was, I don't think Greg Norman liked that one. Did I ever tell you guys the John Rahm story with Josh Clausen?
No.
Josh Clausen was at a wedding, and John Rahm was there.
What?
I guess the guy that he was at the wedding of went to ASU. Rahm's from ASU and stuff. And Clausen ended up talking with John Rahm. And then it was an open bar, so he told John Rahm, "Let me go buy you a drink" as a joke. And John Rahm looked at him and went, "I paid for all the booze."
Oh my gosh.
That's Clausen's big John Rahm story.
That's good.
First to go buy him stuff, and then it was his. I want to jump in the nasty chat. What do we got? Ebutski Matt, please call it the PGA Tour once in a while. It's just so much easier just saying PGA. It is the PGA Tour because PGA of America is different, and they run the Masters. But it's just easy calling it the PGA. Sobe Kirk, I'm pretty excited for the turn that is happening in golf. More exciting guys to watch, like the Gala, Zalatoris, Aberg, Bahita. PGA is such a talent pool to pull from. Players leave to golf, and we just get these new young players coming in. And then Ty Jordan, our buddy from Calgary.
Hey, Ty.
Who's your guys' favorite character in Mario Golf? Always Yoshi. Always Yoshi, Ty.
I'm always a Luigi guy. I don't know.
Were you?
Yeah.
Is it Aberg?
Oberg. Because it has the little
That's right.
thingy. It's on umlaut. It's the other one.
So it's Oberg.
They were saying Oberg on the broadcast yesterday. Or all weekend.
I heard him say a couple of different ones, but Oberg was the most often used one I heard. But
we'll learn his name more.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure it out.
That guy's a player. Now, you and I were texting Friday or Thursday about the fashion statement. Jason Day, right?
Yeah. He was asked to take off the sweater on the Friday.
The heck was like those pants on Thursday
in the wind?
What the heck was that?
Baggy pants for him, for those that didn't see. And it was a crazy wind, and you could just see his pants just flapping. So while you're putting and focusing on your putt, you just have your pants flapping around.
He couldn't have focused on his putt because they were flapping so much. And then the sweater on Friday. Like
I missed the sweater thing. What was it?
Yeah. It was bold.
Like the companies that sponsor these guys dress them. Who's dressing this guy?
Legit, the Masters came up to Day and told him to take it off. That's what he said afterwards.
Well, you'll see.
Oh yeah. So he was trying to wear that on the course?
He did, but then eventually he had to pull it off. So what does it say?
Even that
Malbon Championship or something golf?
Yeah, that's a bit much. Like I think golf's going, like we talked about this a few times, Murray. It's
I don't know if that's
it's loosening up a little bit, which is nice, but like that's
ridiculous.
That is not
something you should be wearing at Augusta.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't mind that on maybe like give me that at the Canadian Open. Sure, I can maybe see it, but you're at Augusta.
Oh, yeah, how about that at Edmonton Springs on a, like
you would see that with someone wearing jeans too.
And jeans and that at Edmonton Springs.
Actually, that picture, I don't mind it.
But that's not. It's not. You don't wear that on a course, man.
Why not?
Do you wear a backwards hat and cut off jean shorts on a golf course?
I'll wear a backwards hat
Because
on a
that's
golf
what that
course.
looks like it would be for.
I'll absolutely wear a backwards hat on a golf course.
Yeah,
if
but
I
cut
have
off
to.
jean shorts
No,
with the backwards
no
hat
jeans.
and that sweater?
No jeans.
With rips and tears.
No
and
jeans.
all the
Everything, all the frayed
phrase
stuff.
everywhere.
Shorts,
Yeah.
pants. I haven't gone into the jogger ones yet.
Joggers are great.
Yeah,
I love
joggers are really popular.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I haven't
my-
gone into those ones yet. I need to go buy some for golf.
Do you have Bird and Barley stuff at their
No,
local
no,
crew?
we don't.
I have some other stuff.
Yeah,
I
it
got
looks
it last
good,
year. It was
though.
good. Yeah, and they said they worked on it. Looking forward to maybe trying some more of it out. But you got Rolo. Did you buy Rolo again?
We do have Rolo. We don't
Jesse
have it.
got you on that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Well, so the Rolo, we only have 2 shirts out right now because we did custom made ranch shirts, 2
cool.
different ones through Rolo but they turned out spectacular. So those are the only ones we have on the floor right now. Once tournament season kicks in about a month, we'll put the rest out and then they'll just be gone. I mean,
Yeah.
those shirts sell so fast, and there's none of them I would ever wear because they're too loud and fancy for me.
I
But
have one with toucans and parrots on it. It's bright blue with like birds, cartoon birds.
the best
Special
one,
events only.
the best one is a beer one. I can't remember what it says on the beer, but it's a bunch of beer cans all over it. I mean, I'd never wear it.
Yeah.
but it looks super cool actually, and I know that the second it hits the floor in our pro shop, they're gone. They
Yeah.
will be sold. That is a good lineup of clothing for
did a
us
good
to
job.
sell pretty darn quick. Yeah. All those guys that play in tournaments that want to have the same goofy looking matching shirts, they see these shirts and
Gone.
they're just gone.
Couple texts I want to get to 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers inbox. There's a golf wear one I'll get to second.
Okay.
Bonnie Dude Ron, how about those EPL games yesterday? Wow, Palace over Liverpool, Villa over Arsenal. What a time to be alive. Man U ties. Man U. I don't know what's going to happen with Man U. I don't want Ten Hag to be out, but I think Ten Hag's going to be out, and I don't like that. Actually, honestly, in the title race, a wild day yesterday. I haven't talked to Eric yet about what happened there, but Villa, like Arsenal, always finds a way to stub their toe going for, and they lose 2-0 to Villa. It was wild. Now give City the Premier League, basically. The bigger story in soccer was Leverkusen winning their first ever German title. Bayern Munich and Alphonso Davies, they won 11 straight years, but Alphonso Davies not there for all 11. But Leverkusen winning it. They haven't lost all year. All year, they haven't lost a single match, which is absolutely incredible. There's my soccer talk for today. Rams fan, the thing about golf wear...
Falling asleep there.
This thing about golf wear etiquette is what turns off casual fans. Why does it matter if his pants are baggy and flowing in the wind?
We don't
well,
care. We're just thinking it's
Yeah.
funny looking.
For
Exactly, yeah.
Jason Day, it's not a care about that you shouldn't be wearing. It would affect your game. Like
Yeah.
that's all I can think about is
Well.
if I'm standing there ready to putt and my pants are flapping around this
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
there, it's probably affecting my thinking and thought process of putting.
Sure. It's different to look at too. I mean, it's
Yeah, but I
not
don't think no one's
judging
going to
him,
care about.
Sure,
you could go on a
exactly.
course wearing that. That's not a big deal.
No.
The sweater one's a little different.
That's because it's got messaging and it's loud and
Which no course is going to stop you from wearing it.
No, absolutely not.
Like Augusta's different for that. Like again, Augusta, this is a private course, like the most exclusive course almost in the entire world.
Yeah.
Like you've got to be billionaire to get in. They have their rules. It's the same as
Yeah.
why CBS and ESPN get 1-year deals for the Masters because they could then quickly pull the pin on the broadcasters if Augusta doesn't like it. Like that's what it is there. But you could absolutely wear these things. There's just certain golf things that you should like. You have to also, if you're a casual golfer, still conform a little bit to golf.
yeah. You can't be
should-
wearing sweatpants.
Well, like you
out
can't
there.
come in flip flops and
Yeah.
go on a golf course.
sure you can.
I've
I mean, there's certain
seen it,
golf
but it's-
courses
I
you
think certain
can't.
ones, and I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
for others, like it depends. I guess you're right. It depends on the course you're going to. You could go wear jeans golfing and a
Absolutely.
t-shirt, but there's certain courses to go for that. I would say.
There was. This reminds me of a story. A few years ago, I'm not going to say what course we were playing at, but we were out there, and my dad, my uncle, my brother, and I were golfing, and then a buddy of my uncle's showed up out of the blue, and he's kind of a different cat, and he joins up with us. It was a quiet day on the course. It was a Thursday, and this group was kind of behind us, 2 guys, and then we were waiting for them to pass. They wouldn't pass. Then we kept playing because we're sitting there waiting, and we're doing this, and they're not responding. And then finally on like the 15th hole, we're on the fairway, and these guys rip up to us in the cart, and they're like, "Do you guys have any idea what kind of brutal etiquette you guys are practicing right now. My uncle looks at the guy beside him in the cart and goes, "You're talking to us about etiquette when your buddy looks like Bruno Gerussi." Wearing sweatpants and flip-flops and a cut-off tank top. The guys wanted to fight. Like, these are guys in their, like, late 50s wanted to fight my uncle and my dad. I had to step in and be like, smarten up, get the hell out of here. And they took off. But, that was a good line from my uncle. He's like, "You're telling me about golf etiquette when you've got Bruno Gerussi riding with you."
Yeah. Well, the world has changed, though. I mean, like, there's people, you know, you see it all the time that just smoking pot on golf courses. I mean, they just dressing how. It's just, the world has changed. It's you just have to go with the flow and let people be who they are and do what they want to do. In a lot of ways, I mean, they need to be respectful to other people, and what you wear isn't necessarily being disrespectful to other people. But you know, in all aspects of life, whether it's on a golf course or elsewhere, the world has changed, and you know, it's just we all just kind of got to go with the flow a little bit, so long as people aren't being disrespectful to one another.
The only rule I want new golfers to follow, there's kind of two. If you're taking your time, let groups pass.
Yeah.
Just pull over on the next hole, let them pass through. It's nothing wrong with that. Don't hold up the play. It's very quick to go. Even take your tee shots, hit them, and then wait and go, hey, play through. And don't look for your ball forever.
Yeah.
Like, they say it's 3 minutes in the pros. Take 5 minutes. I don't know if Murray will like
Even
that.
that's, even that's a
the
bit
rules of golf are 3 minutes now. So
yes, that's what I'm saying. So, but they also got like a bunch of people looking for them.
yeah,
They got the
Don't play
spotters
multiple
and all of
balls,
that.
too.
But it's like that. Those are the two for me,
I
the
hate
big
that.
ones. Like, have fun, enjoy it. I guess I got out of third. Play the right tees.
Yeah, that's
Don't be
huge.
playing too far back.
Yeah.
And then go have fun. But yeah, if you're
Seven more rules,
if
seven more rules.
well, but if things are because it all connects to the same.
I know.
Slowing things down. If you're slowing things down, there's nothing wrong with that. You're learning all of that. But just step aside on the next hole. Let a group come through. Play the hole. And if it's slowing again, step aside. Let somebody play through. Just because that'd be the only thing I'd say.
even the tees they play, who cares? So long as they keep
If
up.
pace of play, well,
As
because
long as they
generally
keep
there's
up.
no they don't
It's
have
going to
that pace of play.
it's going to hinder
Yeah.
their ability.
When
to,
it takes
but
3
if
to get
they
past the
can-
forward tees,
Well, yes, that's a problem.
I've seen those ones.
Absolutely,
Like this text that came in and said, "When you're golfing, it's okay to suck, but suck fast."
exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
That's a great way to put
That
it.
is a really
Well,
good
it's
way.
not even fast. It's just not too slow.
At a good
Yeah.
pace.
Don't suck slowly.
Yeah, or another one that I've heard too is like guys that sit there and read their putt from like 5
Oh,
foot
my
putt and they
God.
read it from every different
Yeah.
angle and then they get up
They blow it
and then
wide.
they miss the putt by a mile. It's like miss it quick.
Yeah.
You know you're gonna miss it, so just miss it quick.
Let's go,
I-
Bryson.
I yelled at him about 3 times this weekend, waiting for him to hit. I was watching him line up and take his time, and it's taking forever. And then finally, I was like, "Hit it!" And he still didn't hit it, and it was really annoying me. But I also just have a dislike for Bryson, so it might
too.
have just been that coming out that I probably saw it with other golfers. But it's Bryson, so I had to yell at my TV at Bryson a couple times this weekend.
Bryson looked a lot leaner than I recall him.
He's dropped some of the muscles
Yeah,
for the last couple of years.
He's not on 8-10 protein shakes a day anymore. Probably not.
Jeez.
No, he's down to just the one length clubs, and that's it.
Good.
He's
Which
a-
I find weird. The one length clubs.
Yeah, he's an interesting character.
Yeah. Well, he got rid of that stupid little hat that he would always wear. I hated that thing. And then the best video of him was him walking into the rope and going down. Oh,
Oh yes, I remember that
he's
too.
such a drama queen.
Yeah, he is.
Duck Dad in the nasty chat. The amazing thing about Leverkusen story is that they've been without their best player for most of the run. So there's that.
So, I got to
golf.
tell a story about soccer. I
Go
was
for it.
on the driving range practicing last week, and there's these 2 guys just down from me at the range of the ranch, and they're hitting balls. And I mean, they look like they're hitting it pretty good and whatnot. But they bring out their laser, and they're lasering the yardage markers of the ranch.
on.
And I say to them, "Hey guys, just so you know, you should put the laser down. We have limited flight golf balls here, so the yardages are adjusted to where the ball's going to fly. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so just put the laser away, or you're really going to screw yourself up in your
Yeah.
practice if you're trying to, change up the yardages
Right.
of what it is." So it was just good when they said, "Oh, okay, thanks." But then a little bit later, when they were getting ready to leave, they said, "Hey, just so you know, Murray," and I had no idea they knew who I was. "We love it when you're on the Hangout."
Nice.
And I'm like, oh, thanks. But he said, I really like the one conversation that you had about soccer. And I'm like, are you sure it was me with soccer? Because I probably said something like, I don't like soccer. And he goes, well, yeah, you did say that, but you guys had a very interesting conversation about like the management of soccer and just, the executive or whatever of soccer and how it all works. And he said the perspective that you guys all had was so interesting that it actually made me realize and get something about soccer that I didn't before. So anyways, I just wanted you to know that I love it when you're on the Hangout. So I'm like, hey,
that's nice.
And I didn't know that these people knew who I was or whatever. So anyways, it was just kind of a little
slowly converting people to being soccer fans here.
Yeah.
Even Murray, I'm not going to say anything, but it all comes together in one little neat package there. The limited flight balls on the range, is that pretty much standard practice across the board?
No, it depends on the driving range that you. Like our driving range is a little shorter.
Yep.
If you hit real golf balls, the people on number 13 would die. Mm-hmm. And sometimes long bombers can still get the limited flight golf balls out there, which I have no idea how, because that's a big hit with a
sheer
limited
power.
ball.
Bird of beef.
Yeah. So any driving range that's a little shorter or whatever, it does use limited flight balls. And so it's 30%. So
it's not 50. Like I look at the 50-yard sign. It's not legit 50 yards from me. It's 50 yards.
less 30%.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, but it's irrelevant because you're hitting it.
Yeah, but so it's but I would think that I'm hitting the driving range balls I always think are a little different, and I'm not hitting, but it's actually adjusted that. Yeah, if I'm getting to the 50 on the course, I would hit it 50.
Yeah. And the hilarious part about that is a lot of times people steal range balls from golf courses and use them on the golf course.
Don't do that.
And I just get a kick out of that because if you're stealing our golf balls and using them on the golf course, they're 30% shorter. So,
plus, they've also been used a lot.
Banged up.
So
this makes no sense.
Not a good idea to steal golf balls from driving ranges, especially if they're limited flight, because you're not going to be very good on the golf course with limited flight golf balls.
Murray, I'm not going to be good anyways, so it doesn't. Really
you're going to be when you get back to playing. You are going to be so rusty. It's going to take you. You're going to take some time to.
What day is it today?
Get it figured out.
Today's the 15th. I am a week away from 4 months of surgery. Surgeon said at that point I could start doing like small swings.
Ooh, I'm going to get the speed.
I'll be working on those.
Yes, get the speed.
I'll have to be working on the chip for quite a few months. Get the chips going.
Well, yeah, you're going to be the best chipper in the planet.
My wedge game is where I die.
Well, not if that. You can only do small swings.
I know that's what I have to work on. Well, but that for I could get within like 30 yards of the green or something, and then I'm never I just want to get it within 10, 15 of the pin, and I'm never. It's awful. I
see the green.
Skull it. I thin it.
Yeah,
green. I hit it fat.
I'm scared.
I hit it completely away. I go into the sand, then get into the other sand. Although the trick from the sand sometimes, Rymai's trick, it actually works. Putt.
I've done that.
Putt out of
just
the
putt
sand?
from the sand.
Yeah.
Oh, it depends on the lip, though. If you have
sometimes you get a nice little launch with it too. But Ryan's got this thing about just pulling out his putter in the sand, and it works.
It does. I've done it. My uncle taught me that, especially bunkers that some places the bunkers are really the sand isn't great. It's hard, so you can just putt it out of there.
For sure. Yeah. I got a good bunker story to tell you about somebody you guys both know, JJ Bear.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we all know the temper that JJ's got, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm on the 8th hole of the ranch. This is before we did the bunker renovation because there's only two bunkers there now. But there used to be 4. One kind of front left, back right, back left, front right-ish, kind of side right-ish. So... I'm playing with JJ, Pat Garland, and Sevi.
Good golfer.
Yeah.
Actually, JJ's pretty good too, right?
No, not as good as the other guys.
The other two are really good.
So JJ hits the tee shot into the back right bunker, sculls it out of that bunker, and goes in the front left bunker. Sculls it out of that bunker into the side right bunker. Sculls it out of that bunker into the back left bunker. He's in all 4 bunkers. Then he gets into that one and he sculls it and it goes way over all the bunkers into the fescue.
Oh, man.
And when he does that, all 3 of us are sitting on the green. We're just watching this. And JJ's club went further than the golf ball did. He threw it so far in the fescue. So now he had to go find his golf club. He had to go find his golf ball and hit it. And like we're literally in tears on the green just laughing at this meltdown of JJ's and just what he did and then his absolute meltdown.
Yep.
And it was just one of the funniest things
I would have enjoyed that.
ever. Yeah, I know you would.
Oh, yeah.
We did too, but
as
my
you
God.
should. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I broke one of my clubs in my life. I was Ravencrest 15, I think it is. Went from bunker to bunker to bunker. I think back to bunker. Whipped my club towards the cart because I just was mad and I wanted to put it by the cart, but it hit the cart and it snapped. I was not happy. I don't do that anymore. I've gotten better. I've gotten a lot better, but I was a little younger. I was with my mom too, which was awful.
We all need to realize that golf's just fun. We're not good enough to get mad. Just enjoy.
I know.
it.
I know.
There was a point where though I was just that was I think the only time I broke a club out of frustration. The other 2 times are stupidity. So 3 clubs I've broken in my life.
I don't think I've broken one.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you. I don't feel like it.
I broke a 5-iron once. I was like, I'll never use this club
for
again.
that,
And then I had no 5-iron. And there was times I was like, well, I need a 5-iron and I don't have one.
You wrapped it around a tree.
I got a 5 hybrid eventually.
Good choice.
That one is around a wire that's like holding one of those big towers up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
I've got some stupid stories of me on the course.
We
I'm just
all
frustrated.
do.
Have you golfed with him yet?
No.
No,
He
we've
gets
actually never golfed.
really fired up.
I could get mad.
Like I
But
think
I
I've
don't
golfed
throw
with him a
anything
few
anymore. I
times.
don't throw anymore. I don't throw clubs. I don't smash
you can
them.
read his mood very easily.
I get really quiet.
I don't talk to him.
Oh.
And then you'll hear like F bombs every now and
The
then.
F-bombs are coming out.
Oh, yeah, and he yells them.
quickly. And if you golf with me early in the morning, don't talk to me. That's what. That's
Yeah, he's not
I'm
a morning guy.
person. It's the same as when you'd come in to do the morning show, and I was here in the morning show, and you'd be like, "Hey, Matt, how are you? Good morning," and I just wouldn't say anything.
And you just
Oh,
walk
my
away.
goodness.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm an ass.
part of me thinks he does it just to do it, but at the same time, it's just
No, I caught the boys in Vegas because the first day in Vegas, I was just overtired, barely slept.
Yeah, I know.
So I was chipper. So like first thing in the morning, he's like, "Morning, boys. How are you guys?" to them, and they were unnerved because all of a sudden the first day we're in Vegas, it's 4 a.m. out there and stuff, and I'm in a good mood, not this miserable Iwanyk that I usually am in the morning, and they were really rattled by
that was
Wow.
odd.
Huh. So what do you attribute that to? You stay up too late?
No, I just like my sleep. I'm cranky.
You're just
And
cranky.
just
in the
don't
morning?
talk to me. And except like I love golfing and I will golf all the time. But just let me just naturally wake up. And when I start talking, we could start having a conversation. I don't care if other people talk. Have your conversations. Tell me stories. That's cool. Just don't expect me to respond in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, he does.
Don't
that.
expect
So
me
what
to even be like,
What time are you awake then? What time is it that
what?
Matt Iwanyk is
at a golf course?
Well, what time is a wake up time for you that you're going to be
depends.
okay? You're
I
gonna be
don't have an
to
answer
talk
for that,
to you.
Murray.
Because it's 9 a.m. when we start the hangout every day.
Yeah, I know this
and you're
one's
okay.
fine because I usually think it's about an hour to an hour and a half from when I wake up to when I'm actually awake.
Oh, so it doesn't matter what at a certain time. It's just
if I'm on a golf course at 6, like I time it like dead on almost. Like I don't wake up and have breakfast or something. Like I wake up, shower quickly, in my car, off to the course.
okay.
So I need a good, probably on a course, like good 30, 45 minutes, I would say.
Yeah.
And most, like, my buddies know. My brother knows, but he is an ass to me because he talks to me on purpose because he wants to get under my skin.
Smart big brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
My dad's
Especially
kind of a
if
mix.
you're golfing. If you're golfing, you got to get under your skin. Playing.
Well, he's going to beat me anyways.
Okay.
Doesn't need to worry about that.
So,
But yeah,
okay.
so like I know people be like, "You're an idiot, Matt," or like, "Grow up." I am who I am. I know it. That's a few times in my life where I'm an ass. Just let me be.
Okay, so hypothetically, the second hole on a golf course is a par 3.
Mm-hmm.
You're grumpy Matt Iwanyk.
Okay.
You get a hole in 1.
Oh,
What, are you grumpy Matt Iwanyk, or does that? Are you going to be happy?
Well, I'd be happy, but like I also want I don't know how I'll react if I ever get a hole in 1 ever at any point. Like I don't know if I'll throw the club in the air and start jumping up and down, or I don't know. I'd like to find out one day.
You would like to find out. Part of that depends on if you see it go in, or if you don't know what's in and you're up with the green. I
Right.
mean, there's different factors.
I'd
that
like
could
to
be
see
in
it
play.
go on.
There was one time I was at Garrison golfing by myself, 3rd hole, and it's like a sloped green. and the pin was like at the bottom of it, and you can't see it. And so I hit a ball, and it went towards that pin. I was like, oh, that could have a chance or something. But then I was like, I'm by myself. Like that would be the worst. Like, and at that point, it was when I realized if you ever golf by yourself, you do not want a hole in one.
No, you don't.
Because you could never go to someone and be like, I got a hole in one. It wasn't close to the hole in the end, but it was just the line.
You get that little hope.
You had that little hope, but it was like
that.
immediately that's when I realized, like, yeah, if I actually got one, it would be awful because the one I got would be around no one. And
you'd be standing on the tee box looking for a ground screw guy. Hey, come here. You go look in the hole up there. Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have one? Yeah.
Two.
Nice.
Right. My second one. Which one was first? I think my first one. I don't even really remember my reaction. The second one I remember because it's one of the craziest stories ever. I was playing in the longest day of golf for cancer. Mm-hmm. And so me and some buddies, we decided we wanted to A, raise some money for cancer, and B, we wanted to see if we could break the record for the most holes ever played.
Oh, wow.
During the longest day of golf for cancer. So we had it all set up where like we had our own cart where the mechanic at the golf course souped them up so they went like lightning fast. Nice. And we were all pretty good players. And then we had like volunteers getting the golfers out of our way all day as we were playing through so we could really motor. So long story short, we averaged 29 minutes for 9 holes all day long.
Wow.
From... Well, I can't remember. I think we started at like 5 a.m. and then we quit at whatever 9 p.m. or something like that. So we ended up playing 330 holes. But I'll never forget it. We were dying. It was a 260-second hole a day. It was a 150-yard par 3. In the morning, I want to say I hit a wedge my first round there. I hit a 6-iron.
I
was exhausted. I could barely move it. Oh,
yeah.
Get up and I hit it, and we get up on the green, and we don't see my ball. And I said, oh, shit. Like, I hit a 6-iron, guys. It's got to be over the back. So we quickly kind of try to run, but it's like, oh, I have to go back and look. And one guy says, screw it. We got to get going. He goes and putts. My ball's in the hole.
Damn.
So went from barely being able to move to I was jumping. Because, the other little tidbit of this is that was the hole that if any of us got a hole in one, won a trip or two to Europe.
No way.
So I won a trip or two to Europe. So I'm going from barely being able to move to all of a sudden getting instantaneous second win. I'm jumping like 10
full
feet
adrenaline.
in the air.
Wow.
And it did spur us on and give us some energy to keep going because we were close to tapping out, but we ended up playing a bunch more.
This is the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. They're always someone looking to ride the next wave. They're here for the ones who make their own. White Claw, the difference is clear. Iwanyk, Murray McCourt, Tom Gazzola with you here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Those listening to us on iHeartRadio and TuneIn or watching on YouTube. We will get to the EST FlyAway keyword momentarily. I just got 2 more questions for Murray here. This first one comes from Quinn Phillips in the Nasty Chat. She wants your take on this. She says, my favorite sand tip is to lift your back foot heel like an inch. It forces you to swing down more. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So her sand tip is lift your back foot heel like an inch, and it'll force you to swing down more.
So you're on your toe?
Oh, my gosh.
Your back foot. Just your back foot. So you're planting on the front, and you're on your toes of the other one so that I guess more weight's going to your front.
If that works for you, Quinn, good on you, but I wouldn't throw that out as a tip to anybody.
Well, we were texting yesterday about it. Scotty Scheffler, no one would teach anyone to golf or swing his club like Scotty Scheffler.
His footwork is something that you would never teach anybody. I mean, it's horrendous, but for him it works. And
he's number 1 in the world.
Yeah. And if for Quinn, if that works for her, absolutely good on you. Do what you do.
There was a comment on the broadcast talking about Scheffler's the way he lifts his back foot up or
the front
foot. Sorry,
it moves. So much.
And I was like, this guy better be facetious. I can't remember who said it, but there was a lot of kids are watching him are going to start doing that. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
I mean, Bubba Watson was like that too. Bubba's a guy that when he's on, it's great, but it's not something you would teach.
No.
Bubba was self-trained, right?
I think you're right about that.
Yeah, because he didn't have coaching growing up.
But once, if there's something that works for you, you stick with it until it doesn't work.
Like Jim Furyk was one of the best players in the world for a long time. No one is ever teaching Jim Furyk swing to somebody.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to happen.
He cleaned it up eventually, didn't he?
A little bit maybe.
Yeah.
But like Matthew Wolf, I think is another one. That big outside in swing. I mean, they're on the PGA Tour, and you can't knock them for the success that they've got. But no one's teaching that swing to anybody that's just coming in and playing the game. It's not going to happen.
You mentioned this before. I'll let you revisit it for those that may have missed it. Cozy says, I played the ranch last week and I'm going again today. There was a lot of sand on the green last week. Is that because it's early in the season, or is there to help through the winter?
Yeah, so we did a very, very heavy top dress at the end of the season last year to help make sure that our greens stayed healthy through the winter this year. And it worked. Our greens are fabulous. As even though I played yesterday, they're still fairly sandy, but they're not slow and they run very smooth. So nothing wrong with it. But they're going to, that sand will just continue to become less and less, and some moisture would help. We haven't got our irrigation system up and going yet because there's still frost in the ground and things like that. So for April, whatever, our greens are great. They are definitely a little on the sandy side, but I'm sure he noticed they're running pretty smooth for that as well. And typically we come through the winter very, very good. Knock on wood. Last year we did have 3 greens that were not as good. There are 3 greens that are a little more open, so the wind was getting at them a little bit, and the POA didn't like it. So that's not the case this year. Our greens are a lot better than they were last year. Those 3 greens are good. So that decision that our super made to do that heavy top dressing has worked very well for us. So happy.
Short-term pain, long-term gain.
Yeah.
There was a tip for you.
TheRanchGolf.com, by the way.
There's a tip for you in the inbox. Did you see? It's from Jeffy. Jeffy says, as someone who had his shoulder reconstructed, take your rehab and physio seriously. If you don't, like me, you'll have issues forever.
I've been trying that. I've been working on it. I've been doing what the physiotherapist has been telling me to do. So I go at it.
Attaboy.
As most days. I miss once in a while, but I'm at it. And then Dudley also says that he's exactly like me. Complete crouch for at least an hour after waking up. So. Yeah. There's those us out there, and all we ask is for peace and quiet, or not peace and quiet.
Does
just
coffee not help?
Coffee doesn't wake me up.
Okay, I thought that's what coffee was
Solidarity,
for.
huh?
No, it's one of those just hey, be you, do you. Just don't expect me to be at the same level as you. That's all I'm saying.
For an hour.
Until I'm ready. Until I'm ready. Because ultimately, like with my brother, if you keep needling me or you come at me, then my mood's going to be gone all day, and you just make me miserable all day because I'm pissed with you.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, my day gets ruined because I'm mad at you. But
Mike
is what it
1,
is.
Matthew 0.
Yeah, the score's a lot higher than that. I would say that right now. Let's get to the EST of FlyAway. Keyword, 2 nonstop flights, 3 nights accommodations, tickets to Cirque, presented by our partners, the Edmonton International Airport, who are FlyYEG, nonstop flights to over 50 destinations. Your sports trip starts with a nonstop flight from FlyYEG. Visit flyyeg.com for more information. Those 50 destinations, there's going to be a lot of golf ones there too. So you can go see Oilers Golden Knights one day. You can go to Vegas for this, or you can go and plan one of those, a nice golf getaway. Now's not the time to do that part, the golf part. There's some good golf, but now you enjoy Edmonton. But then once November and December and January come, head down to Phoenix and get your golf in. Also, our partners, the LVCVA. The keyword for today, it's damn. Damn, D-A-M to 780-218-9999. The morning show keyword was Hoover. So Hoover, damn. That's where I broke that one up. So people could have guessed this one today if they wanted to from the morning show. But damn, D-A-M, 780-218-9999. Not in the nasty chat. Text it to Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. And Zacticum will give someone a call in the next 5 minutes or so. But damn is our keyword for today.
You're always so proud of these words.
This one I'm not. There's the connection. That's where...
I heard Hoover earlier today, and then damn on our show today. Doesn't surprise me. It always reminds me of Vegas Vacation. Yeah. When Cousin Eddie's got his fishing rod on the Hoover Down tour, and he goes, any other questions from the tour guide? And he goes, yeah, where can I get some damn bait? I was like, that is such a bad joke, but it's Cousin Eddie, so it's good.
So speaking of Vegas, I got to do a little shout out. I grew up in Stettler with a guy named Grant Milne. You might know Grant. He's a big guy, about 6'7".
Where do I know Grant from?
300 and some odd million pounds. I don't know, big guy,
Big boy.
but really good guy. Good friend of mine all through high school. Well, his son Spencer Milne, I saw it on Twitter this morning and yesterday. He did his little individual solo lap as he made his NLL debut with the Las Vegas team. And so he lives in Edmonton now, Spencer Milne. I think he played his lacrosse in Fort Saskatchewan, if my memory serves me. But he made his NLL debut this weekend with Las Vegas.
I think that Vegas team is moving to Henderson, Nevada.
Oh, Henderson. Yeah, that's like St. Albert.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and the Desert Dogs.
Yeah, the Desert Dogs.
And then I think Wayne Gretzky's part owner of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why does Edmonton not get another lacrosse team?
I do know that when the Rush left, there was interest from OEG to bring in a new team.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it could happen again, but
The league's had a resurgence, I would say, over the last couple of years. It's massive. Again, Halifax is doing great things out there. It was an exhibition game, I think, in Montreal that did really well. It seems like the league is in a pretty solid spot. The two things I would say, though, is who brings it in. It would have to be OEG. Otherwise, you have to come up with a deal with OEG to be a tenant inside Rogers.
I don't think they'd be up
And
for
I don't
that.
know if there's an owner out
happen.
there that would want to do that.
Well,
Did not go well with the old owner.
Bruce Urban basically got pushed out of Edmonton by the OEG. So.
And I also, I'll say this. I don't feel like I hear a lot of people saying, we need an NLL team again.
No.
Man, I loved it. It was so
It was great.
enjoyable.
It was awesome.
And
Yeah.
just the crowds were decent.
It was fun.
They were good.
Just fun.
I enjoyed lacrosse, but I just don't feel like the appetite is fully there. That when the Rush left, I feel like there wasn't a lot of people like, when are we going to get it back? Like there are some, but I don't think there's enough that it's like we have to get an NLL team again.
If we hear rumblings of a WNBA team before an NLL team around here, I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, the last game that the Rush played here they won the championship, right? Because I remember I was standing on top of the armrests of my chair and just arms up in the air, screaming and yelling, and as the clock was ticking down, and
Mark Matthews.
Was Jimmy Quinlan still on the team?
He might have been a coach by then.
Okay.
Might have been the coach.
I think he was still playing. Jimmy Q was
So it was
when he was there.
2014, 15-ish?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some. I was in touch with him. The president was Gord Sawyer. He's passed away now, but
really?
Yeah.
Formerly Dave Jameson for 1 year.
Well,
Wasn't even here.
Too?
Didn't even make it through the year. Yeah.
Was it 8 months or 10 months?
Yeah.
And then Bruce fired him.
Yeah.
That's when you know you don't know what you're doing. When you're the one firing Dave Jameson.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
Dave's one of Dave's things that he did there, like he immediately stopped giving free tickets away. Because I guess they did a lot of that. He's like, well, once you give your product away for free, no one's going to pay for it.
Yeah, well, exactly.
And no one paid for it.
Well, as were the Edmonton Elks when Victor Quee was running the
And then
the
Rick
show.
Wallisher, that was one of the first things he did when he took over
no
again.
more
Was
free tickets.
those
Yeah.
tickets being papered around the city were done.
Yeah.
They stopped. And that's why when we got to the Labor Day rematch and we saw 30,000, you're like, okay, this is legit. This is people bought these tickets. Even if they didn't all show up, these tickets were mostly bought because they're not papering the city anymore. Whereas there was the game against, I think it was BC, maybe when they got shut out.
Oh, God. That
And
was
they
a brutal
announced
game.
like 20-some thousand. You're like, there's 11, 12 here.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
It was bad.
Did you guys remember a player with Edmonton named Andy Secor?
Yes.
Yeah, so Seeks and he was a really good golfer. And so Seeks and I became pretty good buddies. And then he ended up going and, well, he was hurt pretty good and ended up coaching in Rochester. So Edmonton was playing in the final against Rochester in Rochester. And Gordy Sawyer invited me to come down with the Rush to watch the final. So I flew to Toronto and then we drove down to Rochester. You know, the team, although players were coming from everywhere because they were flying in, right?
You
And
always
so
flew in on like the Wednesday or Thursday, or whatever,
Right.
practice and played your game.
So we met everyone there, but I mean, what a cool experience for me. I sat in Bruce Urban's box in Rochester and was on the bench, you know, during warm up for the
That's
game
cool.
and everything. So we had a after party. It was supposed to be a celebration after party, but it's funny. I was walking back to our hotel and I saw this light on in this bar, and I thought, maybe I'll just see what's going on in that bar as I'm wandering home. Well, I walked into the Rochester Nighthawks after party celebrating with the cup, and Seeks was in there. So Seeks took me under his wing, and I was partying with the cup with the Rochester and everything. It was a pretty fun night. I didn't get a lot of sleep that night.
Norman at Combine says Quinlan was playing. He was sitting beside his wife at the finals. So him and Tracy. Nice. I remember watching it on TV. I was at like a brew house for some reason or something. There was a station thing we were doing. I remember. I can't remember now what it was for.
Jimmy Quinlan's dad, he worked at the hospital when I had my knee surgery. And I remember before I was going in, he was talking to me about sports because I had just done some stuff at CTV. I was anchoring sports there. And I was like, this is Jimmy Quinlan's dad. What a nice guy. 10 seconds later, I'm under getting my knee cut up. But yeah,
I think he's the head coach of the Rush right now.
Saskatchewan, yeah, he is.
Yeah, because I think Derek Keenan is just the GM.
Well, I think it's co-GM because I think Jimmy Q's co-GM with Keenan.
Oh, yeah?
I think that's the way that cool. is working out
Sask
right now.
Rush. Let's find out.
Jimmy Q is a good guy, though, hey? Oh,
I've never met him,
player,
but his dad was awesome.
Yeah.
It helped me calm my nerves before knee surgery, so.
Lacrosse operations. Yeah, Derek Keenan, GM, co-head coach. Quinlan's co-head coach, associate GM. I feel like that's changed. I feel like Keenan wasn't the head coach anymore.
They fired somebody else fairly recently. And so that kind of changed. So Keenan got more involved in the day-to-day, but it wasn't Jimmy Q obviously didn't get fired. It was whoever else was kind of up in there. Oh, we got the phone call.
Priestners bought that team, right?
I think so.
I think they bought it from Bruce. They built a nice little thing out in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I think they're doing really well.
Both the Blades and now the Rush. We've got our qualifier for the EST of FlyAway. Who do we got on the line today?
Mike the Sparky.
Mike the Sparky, congratulations. You are now in it to the draw April 26th to go to Las Vegas. Have you been to Vegas before?
I have not.
You haven't. Okay, well, if you go, what intrigues you the most about Vegas? What would you want to do first?
Probably see a hockey game. Maybe check out the slots or something.
Oh, love that. And who would you bring with you if you're the big winner?
My now fiance, soon to be wife.
Oh, well, congratulations. Well, when's the wedding? Because maybe you could tie this into like a pre honeymoon or something.
Yeah, July 7th actually. So that might work out. We're going to Disneyland after with the daughter, and then so maybe we'll head up to Vegas after.
Beautiful. Well, congratulations. Like I said, you're in the draw April 26th on the morning show. Keep your phone on because if you're the winner, they'll give you a call, let you know that you're off to Vegas.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Congrats. Best of luck. And your next chance to qualify for the EST FlyAway, it is coming up during the Lock Shop with Dusty and Huss. And then one other chance today on the Oil Stream with Tommy and Dustin Nielsen. Giving this away, again, April 26th. So we got this week of qualifying. Next Thursday is our final day of qualifying. Then we're giving away on the Friday. Is it that soon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So we only got a few more chances to qualify. The rest of this week and then 4 days next week is on the 26th, sometime between 7 and 8 in the morning. We'll do the grand prize draw. And you have to answer your phone on the 26th. Otherwise, we're calling the next person. Boom. So keep your phone. If you've qualified, keep your phone on between 7 and 8 on the 26th.
We gave away like a barbecue at 1261 year, and I was filling in for Dusty. And the first caller, the first winner, didn't pick up. So we went to the next person. Then they called back. They're like, did I win? And you're like, nope.
Missed your chance.
You would have.
Yep.
Now, we couldn't hear the other side of the phone call. What if he hasn't been to Vegas? I'm curious. What is the first thing he wants to do when he gets to?
He would love to go to a hockey game potentially,
Nice.
or the slots.
Oh, really?
You can do both.
Yeah. Well,
hit the slots, then go to the game.
Yeah.
So if you win this trip, you get you have to book within 2 months, but you could travel within the next year, and I'm sure if you go for one of those nights, the NHL schedule, I don't think it'll be out by the time you have to book.
When do you have to book by? You have
in 2 months.
2 month window.
2 months. So you're looking just before, just by the end of June. Sometimes it's out before the draft.
Yeah, it's right around
Sometimes
the draft.
it'd be tight. So you might be just for hockey rolling the dice a little bit whether there'll be a game there.
no pun intended.
Hey there.
Look at me go. This is the EST Hangout presented by White Claw. Portions of this hour brought to you by the Hive Product Marketing, official merch partner of EST, promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, thehiveproductmarketing.com. They are working with me on some stuff for the golf tournament, the EST Classic, which is taking place July 9th. And with that, I'm just going to take this opportunity to say that we had a pre-sale of it last week with Nasty Club members. All the regular groups were sold out at the moment.
Wow.
We have a waiting list on that one.
Really?
We still do have some spots open for the groups that come with a quote-unquote EST celebs. You can be golfing with the likes of a Tommy or a Murray. If you would like more information, that's now open to the general public as of right now, I'll say.
Sweet.
Just you have to email me, matt@edmontonsportstalk.com. Get at me on Twitter. I will throw something up on our website too. But if you're interested in joining us on July 9th and want to, whether it's a foursome or a twosome with the quote-unquote EST celeb, if you're looking for more information, contact me, matt@edmontonsportstalk.com. Just a few of those left. And then, yeah, there might be some spots that open up over the course of the next few weeks, depending on how some other things play out. If those do, we'll go through our waiting list. So if you also want to just get on the waiting list, let me know. And July 9th should be a lot of fun.
Almost sold out already. Hey, that's spectacular. I'm looking forward to that day. Holy,
Me
it's gonna be a
too.
lot of fun.
I missed that tournament, so I'm glad we're bringing it back.
Absolutely,
It was just
the
a good
old
day.
TSN days. Yeah, when all of our staff love it too because we let them wear like their favorite jerseys.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
our
yeah,
staff
yeah,
get
that's
right
right.
into it. So I'm sure we'll bring that back for the EST golf tournament where our staff will be able to have some fun and.
Staff's always really good there on those days too. Staff's good there in general, but just a good vibe. Really good vibe.
Yeah, we got a great
Yeah.
team, no question about it. And so many of them just come back year over year over year. So the consistency of who you get to deal with
Yep.
and what's going on is just spectacular for sure.
It's fun when I met with your team just to talk about things. It was like, they're like, yeah, almost a lot can happen. We've dealt with it all. We've seen it all.
Yeah.
You got this thing happening. We've seen it before. Like, we're good. We'll make it work. Like, don't worry. Like, just like you guys have done so many things. It's just such a well-run machine. And they're just like, yeah, something will happen. We've seen it. No, we've seen it all. Like,
No surprises. How are the new carts, Murray?
Oh, the customers are just
forgot about that.
loving it.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're going to do, the weather wasn't a little windy for us to do it. We're going to do a video thing for social media to kind of introduce the new carts and
okay.
show, the capabilities of the new GPS and things like that. But the customers are just loving them. They're fabulous. It
Can't
was
wait.
A really, really good decision. And got some work has already started on number 15, finishing up the renovations. So
Right.
hole number 15 is going to be closed starting this Thursday. It's going to be cold and miserable anyway, so no one's going to golf. But it's going to be closed for about 10 days, and then the renovation on 15 will be fully complete from what we started last year, and that'll be done. And then I think we might be done with renos for a little while.
Well, the rentals were pretty significant, right? Like,
Over the years, for
Yeah.
sure.
you
Starting
guys do have a auxiliary hole too, right?
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
the 19th hole. So that's
Yeah.
what'll 10 gets split into a par 4 and a par 3
Yeah.
when we do that. I don't really like to do that very often because but in a scenario like this, it's just 10 days. It's early season. We're in low season rates and things like that. So if there's a time that you're going to do it, now is the time. And then that 15th hole will be fully renovated and everyone's going to love it. It's going to play a lot easier than it did in the past. I mean, yes, the hole's longer with the elevated green, but with the changes that have kind of already started for the second part of the reno on 15, it's going to make it easier than it was. So
That green was so tough sometimes.
the old green?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now this green is elevated and further back, but it's pretty darn flat by design.
Yeah. No.
Just not, that was a tough green to putt on for sure.
Tom Gazzola, Murray, McCourt, Matt Iwanyk with you here on the EST Hangout. It's been long enough. We now have to get to it, I think. Edmonton Oilers.
Oh,
We
hello.
got to get to the Oilers. They got a game tonight against the Sharks.
Panic.
Pre-game show 6 o'clock. Is it 7:30 game tonight?
7:30.
Is it
Yeah.
7:30 game tonight?
I don't know why. Don't ask me why.
6
7:30.
o'clock pregame. The GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show.
That's right.
The what?
GCL Diesel.
What's that?
The new
Oh,
presenting
nice.
sponsor
Good for you.
of the Oil Stream pre and post game show, starting this past Saturday. They're on board, which is wonderful to have. So only 3 more left of the regular season. A game against the Avs, which is on Thursday, will be a watch party down at Hudson's on White. We'll also be at Hudson's all playoffs. So keep it locked, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. If you go to the top on location, we'll have the list of where we're going. First 2 games, WEM. Last 2 games, or games 3 and 4 were White. I think that's how it worked out.
Yeah.
It could be a little off. So again, just go to EdmontonSportsTalk.com and we'll always have it there. But we'll be at Hudson's throughout the playoffs. But the Oilers looking very likely that they're going to have second in the Pacific. All the Canucks need is one more point, or the Oilers to lose one more point. And,
yes.
They take the Pacific. What do you take away from Saturday's game against the Canucks?
Do you want to go?
You hit her.
Okay. Don't need to panic, that's for sure, although some people still did. Overwhelmingly, though, I think the majority, because I know I was listening to Dusty and Eric this morning talking about those that were freaking out. There are always going to be those fans who do, but, yes, Vancouver swept Edmonton. Yes, the first 3 games were in the 3 they lost were in the first 11 games of the regular season. That was before Jay Woodcroft was let go and things changed. McDavid was banged up, all that stuff. I think they're going to be okay. That was a competitive game on Saturday. Losing to Arizona, that was bad, but that was kind of a laissez-faire type of half-assed performance.
The Canucks also lost to them.
Yeah, but
I will throw it on the Hangout on Friday. I had a little fear, threw it out there of a trap game, that Coyotes game.
Yeah, I didn't,
because you had the
that,
Canucks
though.
coming up the next game.
Yeah. Well,
I know people. There's a lot of people that won't like that, but
they didn't.
It doesn't surprise me though that there was that performance necessarily against the Coyotes, because the Canucks were the next night.
Yeah,
and I could see that if they beat the Coyotes.
Yeah.
Also, if you beat the Canucks, you're tied, but you have a game in hand. So in fact, you have full control over the division.
Yeah,
and if that caught them a little bit.
I don't get the sense, and especially being at the rink, heading into those games and being around the team, I don't get the sense that the priority was to win the division. We heard about process and eliminating mistakes and bad habits, and I think they probably get a C+ on accomplishing that this weekend.
Well, looking at who they could play, that's the thing. As of right now, Oilers get the Kings, Canucks would get the Preds. I like that for the Oilers better.
Yeah.
I'd rather take on the Kings than the Preds. However, there's an outside chance that the Golden Knights could still knock off the Kings. Mm-hmm. Tonight's going to be the big game for that. They both have 2 games to go. Golden Knights are 1 point back. The Kings get the Wild and the Blackhawks. No offense, but you'd like to think that they're going to beat the Blackhawks.
The Golden Knights schedule isn't very tough either.
Well, that's the thing. The Kings, if they stumble tonight against the Wild, then that opens things up for the Golden Knights, because they got the Blackhawks. Sorry, Murray. And the Ducks.
Yeah.
And so I could see the Golden Knights going to taking those last 2. I could see the Kings absolutely winning that last one. Mm-hmm. So tonight, 7:30, Wild Kings. That's a game Oilers fans should be paying attention to, because if the Kings get just even a point, it's pretty much locked in that it'll be Oilers Kings first round. If the Kings drop this game, well, instead of seeing the Golden Knights go to the Central and the Central loading up for this playoffs, the Golden Knights come potentially to the Pacific, as we thought would have happened, and they take on the Oilers in round 1.
It's going to be a great first round.
Now listen, the Blackhawks are locked and loaded in second last, so it's okay for us to win these last 2 games. Got 8 players, 22 years of age and under in the lineup right now, including Frankie Nazar. Played his first game yesterday, gets a goal in his first game. That guy's going to be an absolute stud. No, second. He almost scored on the power play on his second shift.
His first shot. That's great.
Well, maybe it didn't count as a shot, but he almost scored on the power play on his second shift. That guy is going to be a player, I tell you.
Good.
But, the Oilers in these 2 games, I mean, they're getting a little taste of no Connor McDavid. I mean, when you don't have your MVP in the lineup, games are a lot harder to win. And you
they handled Vegas, but
yeah, well, that's the thing. And if you're a Stanley Cup contender, though, you should be able to be without your best player and win a couple hockey games, especially when you're taking on the Arizona Coyotes, who I know, look, they had a day. Yeah. When you think about that game, their entire lives got impacted significantly that day, and you didn't take advantage of that. Like that, you have to think that if you're a player of the Coyotes, that you're being informed that day by Bill Armstrong that you're moving to Utah next year, that you're leaving Phoenix, and there's all this that's coming, and that's going to be in your mind as you're taking
Could
to
have
the
been
ice.
a positive though. They get to play in an NHL rink again. They get to get
Right,
NHL amenities. I mean,
But now it's the thing, the thought, like it's just there's something extra in your mind
Sure.
as you're playing, and the Oilers didn't take advantage of
No,
that.
they did not.
And maybe the Coyotes did come together and go, you want to know something? We can't control what's going on around us. We can only control the ice. And that brought them together for that game, maybe.
Sure.
They played okay yesterday.
But I
too, in
feel like
Calgary.
overall, like that's a situation where you should be able to, like, they've got something else pretty significant on their mind in terms of their lives.
Yeah.
And you just have to worry about winning this hockey game. How do you not come out and like dominate that first period? Now, do I care about that going into the playoffs? Absolutely not.
No.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. But you know, Bush didn't get a point in either of those games without Connor McDavid there. So I mean, yeah, guys didn't step up and play. But you know, does it really matter? I don't think it really matters.
No, I don't think so. It was strange on Friday night around the Coyotes and the staff.
Yeah.
After that news was
It was,
made public. Yeah. They were all huddled together. They all moved together in the press box. Nobody mingled. It was
Well, because hockey ops is moving, business ops is staying behind, apparently.
What?
Well, because the Ryan Smith and the new owner, they're going to have their own business operations.
Yeah.
So they'll bring the hockey
They'll bring
staff
the
with them,
ticketing
but they're
and
going to tell
marketing.
those business people, we don't need you. We'll have our own people.
Yeah.
Right. Okay,
So they'll build their own organization, whereas the Coyotes have, well, Arizona or whatever, they have 5 years basically to get a new rink done so that they can get an expansion team. Like, because that's like,
To me, this is ridiculous.
I'll say this: if I'm the owner of the Coyotes, whatever his name is,
Alex Morello.
he gets $1 billion.
He gets $1 billion.
I ain't building a new rink. I'm running with that billion
Yeah, he
because I got to
paid-
give that $1 billion back to get the Coyotes.
I know.
Yeah, he paid $450 million. Was it 5 years
Yeah.
ago? And he gets $1 billion.
But he gives it back if he
good.
gets an expansion team. That's the price they've set for the expansion. Basically, here.
Yeah.
It's $1 billion. I'm running.
Yeah, I'm good.
I don't need a new facility. I'm running. I got my $1 billion.
Yeah,
I made
exactly.
600 million, almost 600 million off this deal
In 5
I'm
years.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm running.
Not a great owner. I'll just say that.
Yeah,
Not,
that's the word on
he
the street
scared
for
away
sure,
a lot
yeah.
of good staff that left. A buddy of mine left because of that. Now works for PGA of America instead.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Not the tour of America, Iwanyk.
Yeah.
He said he likes all my other golf takes. He just doesn't like that I don't say
It's a
PGA
tech-
Tour.
yeah. But it was odd. But and they don't have any traveling media either outside of their broadcasters.
But in fairness,
So
I
there's
will
nobody
say
there.
there's not a lot of traveling media in sports almost anymore.
It's dwindling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Edmonton itself, where is hockey mecca? Spec,
Sometimes.
DNB sometimes, and then the rights holders.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then we went down for one
But
game to
but
Vegas.
that wasn't because of us.
That was not. Yeah.
Post media newspaper doesn't send
don't go.
anyone. You know, we don't have TV channels basically with sports anymore. Global does have Slav.
Yeah.
I'd be intrigued if he goes on the playoffs. I would be skeptical of that one. But
Yeah,
maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. But I would say, even in fairness, even Edmonton doesn't have a lot of traveling media.
No.
CFL has like almost none.
Yeah.
So speaking of this move, though, what are you guys hearing of Salt Lake and Colorado moving to the Pacific and Edmonton, Calgary moving to the Central?
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
You don't?
No.
I hadn't heard that.
I've seen that one on the internet a little bit. I don't know where it's fully come from. It's never come from an insider. So it's not come from a top person.
I read an article out of Chicago saying how this is going to impact the Blackhawks, and it said that this is on the table.
The idea would be Colorado Salt Lake just move to the Pacific, and then the Oilers and Flames head to the Central. To me,
I don't see that happening.
I don't see why, if you're the NHL, you need to do any sort of realignment at the moment, because
No.
Arizona's to Salt Lake, it's like a state up, 2 states up or something. Like
It's a straight shot.
so it works perfectly, and you're
Yeah.
right next to Colorado, or you're near Colorado.
Yeah.
That you're already in this, like next to a central opponent.
Yeah.
That everything could stay the same.
It makes it even easier than Arizona being in
The only
Central.
reason I could see maybe a change is they're preparing for 36 teams.
That could be.
And when you get to 36 teams, how are we going to deal with that? Or even, let's just say 34 for now.
yeah.
Like, how are we going to do divisions at 34 teams? You add Atlanta, you add Houston. Are we going to have 8-9 divisions in the West and the East? Or are we going to break things up in a different way? Like, maybe they're starting a preparation for, well, our divisions are going to have to change in a couple years anyways, once we take the money from Atlanta and Houston.
Yeah. Or Kansas City.
Or Arizona. I got to throw Arizona back into
and
this.
Kansas
I guess.
City is in there too.
Well, yeah, I should have.
Yeah.
Because Arizona would have to be back in the mix in theory.
They
right.
They
Like,
kind
it'd be
of are.
So
but
I guess maybe it's those
yeah.
4 cities
Yeah.
potentially. Sorry, Canada, but
There's no Quebec.
and it shouldn't even be Quebec. It should be Toronto.
Yeah.
But then you're maybe having to they're fixing that alignment. But it just to me, if I'm Daryl Cates and I'm Murray Edwards.
Well, of course you're
I'm
saying no.
I'm
but-
screaming at the NHL, going, we're Canadian markets. We bring money to this league.
Yeah.
No, we do not want extra travel. We already travel enough.
Yeah.
To go to the Central, it's a lot further for us to travel to.
It sure would be.
Chicago's of the world and
Yeah.
and the St. Louis's of the world,
why it
as
doesn't make
opposed to
sense.
Vancouver or Seattle or the LA's.
It makes sense for those other 2 teams though to go into the Pacific. They would want to. They would want
Colorado and Salt
it.
Lake.
Sure, because they're so close to
They
California.
get shorter travel
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Absolutely, they
But
would love it.
If I'm Daryl Cates, especially, I yell. I go, absolutely not. There's no way I'm allowing this. Like we don't ask for a lot.
Yeah.
We haven't got the draft
No, they
yet.
do
we
ask
have
for a lot.
Well, but not like compared to some other ones.
I
Like,
know,
Daryl
I
Cates
know.
isn't this like one of the power brokers of the NHL, if you will.
No, he's not.
So if you got 2
you
teams,
haven't got the draft yet. You haven't got the All-Star game yet. You haven't brought a few of these hockey events that are supposed to come here. I'm sitting there going, okay, no, like absolutely not. You've changed the draft anyways, where it's not going to be as cool as it maybe once was, where everyone is there. It's going to be
Yeah.
decentralized.
So
I don't need the draft anymore. You keep me in the Pacific.
But
maybe,
if
type
those
thing.
2 other teams, if they do jump up and down and say, "Hey, we want this," and Calgary and Edmonton are jumping up and down saying, forget it. Who wins though?
Calgary and Edmonton.
I would argue.
You
it'd be,
think so?
Well, the argument I
You
would
have a
is
new owner,
Exactly.
and then you have the Colorado Avalanche. I know they're a good team now, but I'm sorry, like you have 2 like pillars in the league.
It's 2 versus
and
1
then
in a sense.
2 kind of
Ryan Smith
mid-pack.
doesn't matter in this.
Exactly.
I don't care that you paid 1.2 for this. You're brand new.
Yeah.
You're at the bottom of our totem
Exactly.
pole of voices.
Yeah.
Too bad.
And the Avalanche don't necessarily have that clout either.
But even if they do, it's 2. That's where it's 2 versus 1.
yeah.
And I think the Oilers and the Flames should I'm the type of person that would generally sit there and be like, U.S. matters to hockey more than any business wise. They need that market, and that's why Canada gets the short end often. This to me doesn't help the growth in the U.S. So at that point, if you're the Canadian markets, you absolutely sit there and go, not a chance.
Yeah.
We are not allowing this one to happen.
So I agree with the travel aspect of it, but if they were in the Central when they're playing Chicago St. Louis, the games instead of being at 9
That's
o'clock
fair.
our time would be at 6 o'clock our time. So
A lot better primetime games
for
to
that-
showcase Connor,
Right. So for
and Leon.
so I see the yin and the yang of it both ways, but I mean the travel, sure, that's going to trump all. So I agree they're not going to want to, but as a fan and someone who likes to watch, I much prefer the idea of the games being at 6 o'clock our time than 9 o'clock when I'm already in bed
Yeah.
and no watch anyways.
I get that.
Yeah. So, and if they're in the Chicago division, then the Blackhawks are going to be here more, so I can go watch my Hawks a little more often. So
Selfish.
I
Selfish.
know. I'll take the move.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Oilers to the Central. I'm on board.
Oilers are on the ice. No Kane, according to Bob Stauffer. McDavid in between Henrik and Hyman. Draisaitl. Oh yeah, McDavid's getting there.
There you go. Hey, how about that?
There's a big one right there. I missed that part.
yeah.
McDavid in between Henrik Hyman. Draisaitl between Nugent Fogle. McLeod between Holloway and Perry. Carrick between Janmark and Brown. Ryan is an extra. Ekholm, Bouchard, Narcisse, Kulak, Desharnais, Stetcher an extra. Skinner starting. Pickard is his backup, but Kane not on the ice. So probably maintenance day, maybe potentially. I don't
Maybe,
know.
yeah, he's
I don't
been
know.
nicked
You're
up.
at this point of the year where it doesn't matter. These last 3 games almost have no impact unless the Canucks completely stub their toe the rest of the way. You can't get Pacific.
Yep.
And as you said, it doesn't seem like you feel like this
That
team
doesn't sound like
matters.
it's their
So now it's one.
feel
Okay,
and
who's
all.
got the nicks and bruises? You do? Kate, which game do you want off?
Yeah.
Okay, there'll be quite a few guys. Wouldn't be shocked on Thursday against the Avs not playing.
There's a
We only
back-to-back.
have 2 extra players, so
Yeah. There's a back-to-back upcoming too, right?
yeah,
Oh,
the
that's
last
right.
2 games.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's a
you
good
could-
point.
Can they,
You can only-
do they have any more call-ups though? No.
They
might be able
bring
to
up-
make some,
They might.
no?
I wouldn't. If they bring up Broberg, I know they are still looking at doing that. I would think
I thought
would
they
do it.
did. I thought they did call him up.
No, that was. I know Spec put out there that he wouldn't be surprised if Broberg would be called up.
I thought that they did.
But there was no official report coming from the Oilers.
I've been told that they still would like to get him into a game. It's to be
Mm-hmm.
determined. So I look at that Arizona game and go, well, that's an easy one. You just get him over from Bakersfield.
Yeah.
I'd like. Okay, you're good. That's a great point on can't bring up players. I would expect against the Avs, you'll see pretty even ice time, though.
Yeah.
I don't think you need McDavid or Draisaitl putting north of 17 minutes.
Yeah. And
I think you roll 4 lines just overall.
And we're
Straight
beyond the litmus test with the Avs, so that game's going to be cruise control.
Second unit power play gets first unit time, I would say. Well, less than first unit because first unit could take up the whole thing, but probably out there to start, and then you go to first unit.
Could be.
That's how I would look at it.
Any thoughts to the absolutely shocking news that Mark Stone is cleared for practice just before playoffs?
I'll say this. I respect the
shock.
Golden Knights. I love that they do this and they don't care. And you want to know something? Instead of being angry at the Golden Knights,
You got to be angry at the league.
get upset at your team for not doing this.
Yeah.
Get upset. Like, we've seen this happen time and time again. Why isn't your GM doing this? And the reason the GMs aren't closing these loopholes is they want it available to them one day.
Sure.
Start doing it.
Yeah.
Start doing it. Don't wait a couple of years. The Oilers should have done this last year with Evander Kane. They didn't do it. They should have found a way to get it done this year.
Now, how does that conversation go with the player, though? Because players want to play.
Absolutely. But they
And
also
you-
want to win cups.
Yeah. So, but do you sit down, Mark Stone, and say, "Hey, Mark, we're going to elevate your injury here to so we can circumvent the salary cap, and you're not going to play again until
There's an
playoffs." Does
injury
that
to Mark
conversation
Stone.
happen?
Yeah.
There was a legit
100%.
But was it a lacerated spleen?
Yes.
It takes 3 to 6 months to recover from that. It
And
takes
it's
a long time.
It's 2 months,
took
right?
Less than, I think.
Yeah.
And like
Is he playing yet?
he's skating.
He's
I know he's skating,
and
but
cleared
I don't
for
know.
practice.
That's maybe there was a spleen injury, but I don't know if it was a laceration fully. I'll be skeptical. I'll be nice. I'm gonna be a little skeptical in that part of the
Gary
full
Lawless.
extent. But there's an injury. Like
Yeah. Yes.
none of these guys aren't injured.
I'm not even defending them, but like
It's how injured are they? I
Yeah.
like the extent of
they
it.
massage it. Gary Lawless was awesome last week on the Rink Report when we were down at the arena prior to the game. He goes, the Golden Knights athletic therapists aren't cutting people's organs open, folks. Like they're not injuring their guys on purpose so they can circumvent LTIR.
Wow.
But it's
convenient. Tomas Hertl's back.
Yeah, like
last
I guess the
week,
Mark's
right?
Stone, like, I'll say this: if it's a lacerated spleen, they say it's 3 to 6 months. We've seen people come back from injuries early. McDavid's come back early, and we all go,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, look how incredible this is." We don't go, he was faking it or something." But to do it right before playoffs, like, it's just too convenient.
We knew.
But then that's where it can't be then a full lacerated spleen. He's not magically healing every year at the exact same time. Where it's like whatever injury he's had, it's now, it's all good.
How about that?
It's But
I respect
do you
it,
think
though,
the
and I
league is
don't
going to
hit them.
change it?
No.
I
No,
don't.
because the GMs don't want to.
Yeah.
They don't want to. Yeah.
Because all the ideas that are thrown out there, to me, are terrible. I heard one last week on, I think, the Oil Stream or something, where somebody said, if you don't play after the trade deadline, you can't play in the playoffs. Well, now flip that if you're the Edmonton Oilers. Let's say Connor McDavid actually got hurt before the trade deadline, and he couldn't play the rest of the season, but he could come back for game 2 of the playoffs. Well, now he can't play because he didn't play the rest of that time. You have to rush McDavid back from an injury to play a regular season game just to make him active for the playoffs. Like, it's... The only thing I could go with is maybe we go a baseball way where you have to submit a roster for each round.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't, if you have a couple of injuries, you got to deal with it. But a couple of your players, and that roster has to be quote unquote cap compliant.
Yeah.
So if Stone's coming back, somebody has to be out of the lineup, but you have to make sure it's all cap compliant. I will say last year during the Stanley Cup playoffs, at least I know for sure one game, the Golden Knights were cap compliant. If you took their
One game?
Well, I didn't do it
Of
for
the
every
6,
game,
yeah.
but if you took the cap hits that they had on for the Golden Knights, like with their cap hits, it would have been cap compliant. So they actually ended up being cap compliant, but maybe that's where it's like, okay, if you have an injury, you can't now just bring this other player in because he's not on part of your first round roster.
Yeah. What about just like a hybrid thing where your roster on any given night, just your roster, not your extras, has to be cap compliant? Does that make some sense?
I'm cool with that. The thing is, though, Golden Knights were fine last year then.
For every game?
I think the one issue was when Jonathan Quick was in the lineup or wasn't. I think Quick's going in elevated their cap sometimes a little higher or something. Was it Quick? Yeah, Quick. But like, if you actually went through their caps that they got on the Golden Knights and stuff, and you calculate it all up, it was under the 83.5 or what it was. The salary cap was last year.
There's a lot of solid clubs in the West, and I mean Edmonton is one of them.
Yeah.
But boy, Vegas scares me a little bit. If they're fully healthy, and even round 2, I'd rather get Vegas right now in round 1, where maybe some of these guys are a little nicked up still.
Stone has to get his legs under him.
Right.
Hurdle has to get his legs under him. Hill's trying to figure out his game again.
By round 2, these guys are going to have that, and they're going to be a tough out. Yeah.
Another thing that I found interesting, kind of caught me by surprise, was, and Gary pointed it out, and a few others said it too, when Vegas was here. They're tired, apparently,
Golden
and
Knights?
they're wearing out. Yeah, and
It's been a lot of hockey.
Gary said outside of Tampa, the Golden Knights have played the most hockey in the last few years, and starting to show.
Yeah.
Which is why I think the Lightning might be a team to watch in the playoffs this year, because they had
Refreshed.
the early year last year, early exit, and can they figure it out once they get to play? They know how to win in the playoffs.
They do.
They do, yeah.
Them and the
There's
Bruins
a
right
lot
now.
of good clubs, period. Like
Yep.
this is I feel like most years going to the playoffs, you got 1 or 2 teams and you think, man, that team right there. But I don't feel I can point to 1 or 2
Same.
teams and think I think I can point to 8 or 9 teams.
And if any of them go on runs, I'll be like, oh yeah, they're good.
Yeah, no,
No surprise.
I only have 6 of 8 in the West that I do believe could win the cup. As good as the Preds are, I don't have them, and I don't have the Kings. But 6.
No, I agree.
The other side, I could see Boston doing it. I could see Florida doing it. I could see the Rangers doing it. I could see Carolina doing it. And I'm going to throw Tampa in there just because of the history and see them doing
Yeah.
it. I don't see Toronto because
I
you got to
agree.
go through Florida, and then you got to go through either Boston, Tampa. And then you got to go through probably the Rangers or the Hurricanes. I just don't know I don't think the Toronto Maple Leafs have the makeup to do that. That's just to get to Cup final. Islanders in Washington or Detroit or Philly or Pittsburgh, no chance.
Yeah.
Right. So you're saying kind of what I'm saying.
I said 11 teams.
11 teams. 11
I have 11
teams.
teams that I wouldn't be shocked at winning the cup this year.
Right.
Because they're
But-
built
But
good enough.
is that normal for you?
No.
Like I feel like it's just. But then a strange thing happened because was a couple of years ago was it Columbus that knocked out Tampa
Tampa.
Bay in the first round,
2019.
and everyone was looking at Tampa Bay. There's a team that's going to could win the Stanley Cup, and then they get swept in the first round. So
They won it the
Boston
next year.
yeah, that's why they play the
Boston got
games.
knocked out last year.
Who had Florida going to the final last year?
You did.
No, I didn't.
No?
I had no
Who
idea.
had somebody? Somebody told me they had
They're crazy.
Florida. No, their kid did.
Yeah, I still don't like Florida's team. We talked about it on the show, and then now they have dropped off
Yep.
some, but I don't have them on my list.
Florida?
Yeah, I don't.
Like, it's one, when they showed it last year. If Bobrovsky gets
know.
going, like, they
Look
can
out.
go far.
I
So
know for sure.
I wouldn't be, like, that's a team that I'll put them in that contention there. But yeah, the East is going to be tough.
Yes. Yeah.
How about Philly? Just
I hope they miss.
blowing it.
Yeah.
They have one game left. They're and
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't have a
So
chance. really.
Washington
No, they're
at 80 points, 80 games, 87 points. Red Wings 80 games, 87 points. Philly 81 games, 87 points. Pittsburgh 80 games, 86 points. Washington has Bruins and Flyers. Detroit has Canadians and Canadians.
I like that. That looks good.
Philly obviously just has the Capitals, and Pitt has Predators Islanders.
And Pitt's 1 point
Right
back.
now, Detroit,
Yeah.
that's your spot.
Detroit spot to
That is
lose,
your
yeah.
spot to be in the playoffs
Yeah.
once again.
Oh,
If
boy.
you don't make it, wow.
Huge celebration on Saturday
It's-
when they beat the Leafs in overtime. Huge celebration. Yeah.
NBA yesterday had their regular season finale, which was my Lakers are in a rough spot, I feel.
Oh no.
Well, they've got they're
How
going,
are we gonna handle the play?
I don't know. We've got the Pelicans.
Uh-huh.
If we win, we get the Nuggets. Why could the Timberwolves beat the Suns?
You better bring
Now I
your
have to
A
get the
game.
Nuggets. But now it's like also, do you lose and then go to the next play-in game against either the Warriors or the Kings? Because if you win that, you get OKC. And I'd rather play OKC than the Nuggets. But also at the same time, let's also just bring on the
How are
Nuggets.
your
Let's get it
numbers
over
against
with.
OKC this year?
My numbers aren't good. My team's numbers, the rest of my teammates are great.
No.
But we
that's
don't
good.
do well against the Nuggets. So I don't know. I didn't want that. Like, it played out almost so perfectly yesterday. All I needed was the Timberwolves to beat the Suns. But
Didn't happen, hey?
now it's like I don't want them to lose that first playing game because I just want to be in the playoffs right off the bat. But also there's a benefit in losing that first one. But then there's the risk of if you
already won
lose.
your banner this year. You're done.
I want more.
Yeah, I know.
I
you
want
do,
more. If Darvin Ham would have played the roster as he should have all year, this team would have won more games and wouldn't be in this spot. I don't know what he's doing as a coach. Useless coach.
So opposite of hockey, can the Celtics be beat? I mean, they've been roster. You like roster management? The Celtics have been roster managing for 2 months, keeping guys making sure everyone's going to be healthy.
I don't know how they get beat in the East.
Yeah,
I don't know how they get beat, especially with. I don't know how severe Giannis's injury could be. I don't know who beats them in the East.
Yeah, I don't think
the Nuggets will beat them.
Ooh, that's bold.
The Nuggets are so good. Like
The
it's
Celtics
one of those.
are so good.
I know, but the Nuggets. I don't know how you take down the Nuggets sometimes when they're rolling.
Well,
when Jokic is going and Murray's going.
Well,
they're just so strong and built. But that would be a
fun series to see how.
I will be all Nuggets in that one. I hate the Celtics.
And I love the Celtics.
I hate the Celtics. And you hate the Lakers. That's it for the EST Hangout presented by White Claw for this Monday. Thanks to Big Mom, Pop,
Big Mamas and Big Papas.
Pizza.
Yeah. I'm going to have some right away here. Murray,
I've got to throw. It's been too hard to eat.
I could
on
be
the show.
arm twisted, maybe.
Yeah. We only have 48 slices left.
Oh, hey.
BMPP.ca.
Dusty's out there. You never know.
That's true.
BMPP.ca for details on ordering your big slices of pizza. Or you could get the regular sizes too, but they got the big ones. Coming up next, it is the Lock Shop, Dusty Hutt and Pat Gregoire, and then the Oil Stream with Tommy and Dusty, and then the GCL Diesel pregame show later tonight, 6 o'clock right here on Edmonton Sports Talk is YTT and Tommy. We'll get you set for Oilers and Sharks. Murray, it's great having you in again today.
Yeah, appreciate it, buddy.
TheRanchGolf.com to book your tee time. On behalf of Tommy, Murray, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in to the Hangouts. Lock Shop starting in just a few minutes.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with here. Joining us today,